Last we left off, you'd found yourselves in possession of an infernal war machine after destroying the former devilish drivers. With the assault of the city of Kas'Tyrion underway, now is a time of action. Alana took the helm of the behemoth. Mary, Gord, Val, and Lavender took positions atop the various weaponry stations, and Hondo stood tall as captain, calling out directions and orders. Putting the pedal to the metal, you thundered toward the approaching squadrons of Vow and Eldrazi forces. 3 squadrons each bore a bridge along the north edge of the island, and they were underway, climbing onto its surface. As you hammered around the island and barreled through the first squad, Gord left the first bridge in splinters, with the wrecking ball that clinged to the back of the machine. Several Eldrazi knights managed to avoid the churning wheels and boarded the war machine. Hondo, Val, and Mary fell into melee with them, keeping them free of the damage-dealing Lavender and Gord, and freeing Alana to plow through the waves of villains. Ultimately, a second and third bridge were destroyed. You had all driven headlong into trouble, and in your wake lay a swath of carnage, but you'd all taken a beating as well as a result. Finally, you bore down on the last group, and at full speed, just as an arcane gate opened before you, threatening to send you all plummeting to your doom. Alana skillfully maneuvered the monstrosity into a gear-grinding, spinning stop. The back end of the machine, with Gord, slipped through the portal, but he teleported to safety astride the rest of the machine below. And from the northwest corner of the island, you could see the source of this arcane trap. Riding atop a slightly smaller but equally imposing machine of death, you saw Vow, Eldrazi, and worst of all, the mad visage of Raymond Borealis, robes and scraggly hair whipping in the wind as they hurtled towards your beached whale of a machine. With haste, Alana kicked the machine into gear. You fired through another swath of soldiers, but Raymond was gaining. In a last-ditch effort, with smoke gathering from your ride, you decided a head-on approach to your current problem. Preparing as best you could to ditch your ride at the last moment, Gord was polymorphed into a giant owl and carried Hondo up and away from danger. Valentine and Mary dimension doored free of harm, but not before Mary could strike true with a single arrow, piercing into the driver of the opposing vehicle. Finally, Alana and Lavender were about to flee themselves, just as the machine collided with a ramp of arcane force, sending them up and over the approaching vehicle, and sent Lavender sprawling into the seat of the helm, away from Alana. As the machine rose at breakneck speed, the wall ended and sent the demon grinder into a freefall. Lav tried, but could not reach Alana before her spell's energy fizzled, and the teleportation delivered her safe to the island, beside Mary and Valentine, only to watch the rest of the wildcards as the war machine fell to earth. A horrific wrenching of metal and fire, the immense machine crumpled with Alana lost within the wreckage. As the last dregs of consciousness faded, the machine erupted in a fiery blaze. A shrieking of lost souls fills the air, mixing with the screams of your own party, as not even the hardiest of your group can walk away from that wreck. And this is where we're going to begin tonight. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh, I was not prepared for this.
Okay.
Yep.
Roll terrible, Allie. Roll bad.
Yeah.
You need bad initiative right now.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
All right, 25 to 20.
Mine's 22.
Okay.
No, 23.
20 to 15.
She got 17.
What did you get, Hondo, baby girl? 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Val?
7.
Alana?
7.
Okay. Gord?
10.
What was that?
Something
Are you
mysterious
on a
playing on
1990s
Kev's
album?
thing.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Mary, Lavender, Valentine, you guys are on the northwestern edge of the island, about 200 to 250 feet from the wreckage, as you watch it just turn, crumple, land, explode. Bits of shrapnel fly past you, luckily not impacting with any of your group. Gord and Hondo, Gord, you are currently a giant owl, and you sit about 40 feet up in the air. We'll say about 20 to 30 feet to the west of, or to the east of the rest of your party, but in the same distance from the wreck, just despite your elevation.
I'll do a perception check.
When we come to your turn, you
Night
can.
vision, 60 feet.
I like that initiative though, baby. I like it.
It's broad daylight. You don't need darkness.
Like I do it anyway.
He has it though. He has
That's
it.
a 11 perception check.
Hold on
Mary
to
asked. Mary asked. She missed how far we were. You said 120, right, Kyle?
that. No, you guys are about 150 to 250. Sorry.
Oh, 250. Okay, sorry.
It is Mary first.
250. Okay, that changes my plans. I thought we were closer than that for some reason.
2 to 250. Like it's a difficult.
It's hard to tell.
It's a large wreckage.
Okay. Let me just check something. Oh shit, that's not that fast. Fuck. That's not even if I dashed.
Also, okay, while you're considering your options, a reminder for everybody: Lavender is still -1 to all rolls as a part of her coming back to life. Alana, as reminded by Allie last game, is permanently down 1 death save as part of resurrecting Valdora, I believe. Or was
No, it was Lavender.
It's for Lavender.
Me again.
Her other sister.
Hondo is poisoned, meaning disadvantage on attacks and ability checks,
Great.
which would most rolls, if you're investigating anything like that, it is at disadvantage. And that is, that's everything for now. As well, I should say, as well, as you guys are formulating a plan, you do see and hear the wreckage of the other machine, and you don't see immediately from your vantage point. You're a little focused on what's happening here, but you did hear a crash of this other machine, and there are still plenty of Vow and Eldrazi enemy combatants on the field in various spaces. Not directly at where you're standing or at where Alana is currently lying, but close enough. Mary, what are you doing?
So you can save an action, but not a movement, right?
That's
Yep.
right. You can
So
hold-
Mary couldn't save movement, dimension door combo.
Mm-mm.
That's tough.
Nope. And I don't know what everyone still has for spells and stuff either, so I don't think I'd think about that.
There's no time reel for
Nope.
communicating.
Okay,
Like it is an
so-
instant action here.
So what I'm gonna do is, we're on that like cliff edge, right?
Yep. Well, island edge, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
10
gonna
feet
just
up to-
start running towards the edge, and I'll jump and then cast or use the armor to summon the Pegasus
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
and try to just
Smart.
catch on her and go as far as I can, as fast as I can. Is it bonus action make your mount dash? I can't remember how we did this last time.
Yeah. So it'll take you 10 feet to run and leap off of off the edge of the island, and as you utilize the armor and feel out into the ether, calling on your mount, on Mira, she just formulates right beneath you, and you land, and her wings just kick out, and you hurtle across, and you give her a kick, and she manages to, as you burn 10 feet of movement, she has 90 feet fly, so 80 is 160 in the first move.
And you can't use your action to dash when you're on a mount.
No, but you've also used your action to summon her.
I know that. I'm talking about an action surge, but I can't
Oh,
do that.
Oh, cool. But you could bonus action, right?
Bonus action to cause her to dash.
Yeah, which I did.
So yeah, the action surge would only apply to you.
Yeah.
So you could, in theory, jump off and run, but like
I'm only
you're
going
not
to get an extra
gain that
30
much.
feet.
Yeah, and
I'd
you
rather
would actually probably lose some with leaping. Like you have to dismount, so it's not gonna work. Just don't do it.
Yeah, no, that's all I can
Save
do
yourself the action surge.
then. Yeah, that's all I can do.
Okay.
Action,
You've
bonus
moved
action.
160 feet in the direction. You're getting close as quickly as you can move. That's put you in position. Takes us to Lavender. Hands still outstretched. You watch the fiery wreckage. What do you do?
Who am I like the closest to?
Technically, right now, you're about 5 feet from Valentine.
Valentine, oh my god, I don't know what just happened. I just had her and she just fell and I don't know what to do. What are you doing?
Get back there. Get back there. Use a spell and get back there.
Oh yeah, I have that thing that I could do that. Will you come with me?
Of course. Let's fucking go.
Okay, let's dimension door there. And I, 4th level.
4th level dimension door. First of all, wild magic surge.
Ooh.
I just
Give
blow
me that
Valentine.
1. This would work perfectly.
Oh my god.
What is it?
That actually was so close. It's
Ah.
a 10.
It's a 10, but,
But
it
it,
looked
like-
scary
it,
on
like,
that bounce.
Bounced one and then went.
That'd have been the perfect moment for a wild magic surge.
Just fireball Brawly. Oh,
No, fireball
I would have
me?
fireballed the 2 of you.
Fucked.
You didn't go anywhere, and you get burned alive.
God.
Okay, so
Either that or now you're a potted plant. Like that's the.
yeah,
Oh.
or you don't move anywhere, and you're a potted plant.
Or we heal full.
Well,
You, where are you trying to dimension door to? Are you doing a vague distance? You don't like you're too far out, and it's too much carnage to see like Alana. You can't say I go to Alana. Where what direction are you traveling?
Or from this vantage, we can see the wreckage and smoke, right?
You can see the massive vehicle has come into like 2 large chunks. You can see it's split in the middle and it's split in 2 chunks. You can just see it's blown apart. So there's scattering everywhere and a small crater, and it's mostly fire and smoke currently. So like there's no clear visual. You get at most it's about 200 to 250 feet, but where exactly you don't know.
I think I want to go as close to the wreckage as possible without burning us.
Please.
Like,
Then-
I'm not going to go like in the middle of this thing.
Then let's say you go the 200 feet on this edge of the wreck.
That's good. Yeah.
On this edge or the other edge?
Yeah.
Yeah, on this edge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's near Mary too, in case something bad happens.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Mary is now you're 40 feet ahead of Mary, but 200 feet ahead. You grab hold of Valentine, fear-stricken, rushing forward. The door opens and you are now standing in the sand, and it is hot. Like you are not in immediate pain, but you are standing within 5-10 feet of a burning wreckage. It is like a humongous bonfire, and would you have gotten any closer? Yeah, there certainly would have been some potential danger there. But
Can I, oh, sorry. What else
go
were you
ahead.
going to say?
No, go ahead.
Can I use my bardic inspiration?
Sure. As a bonus action.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for Valentine. And I'm just going to yell, find her!
Okay. Using your bonus action, Valentine, you are inspired with a D6. Takes us to Hondo. You are currently in the grips of Gord as a giant owl, 40 feet in the air, and about 200 to 250 feet from the wreck. Do you do anything?
I'll be like, Gord, get me down there.
Oh.
You shout to Gord. His turn is right after yours.
You can hold something.
Is there any action you want to hold?
I will hold until. So would I be able to hold it till like I'm like 50 feet over them, type thing?
What is it you want to do?
Because when I'm about 50 feet, I will use my water jug.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Water.
No.
That's cool.
Let me put not that one because I think wall of water will be more impactful. So I'll do that, and I'll do it right through the damage, I guess.
Perfect. So you are now concentrating. You begin summoning the magic of wall of water, the spell that you summon the wall from. You've now concentrated on the spell, and you're just holding the official cast, until you're within range. You're currently too far out, so you're waiting on Gord to get you within range. Perfect. Hondo begins concentrating on wall of water, gives Gord the hopeful answer of get closer. Gord, it's now your turn.
Perception check, baby.
Yeah. So what was your perception check total?
11.
Can you get closer before you do that? Would that help?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to help, but it's you can still get closer. You can use your move to fly, but
You also would have advantage on that.
you have advantage on it as an owl. You have keen senses,
Come on, Owl.
so you have advantage on perception. So roll another perception check.
20.
This should also keep in mind. This is the perception of the owl.
Did you
not
roll a
of you.
nat 20 or you rolled?
No, my perception's 9, so I rolled an 11.
Whew.
I was just clicking
Yeah, just roll.
in the thing. Skills.
And was that with advantage? Did you roll twice?
Yeah, that was the second one was 20.
So you rolled an 11 is the highest roll in the dice, because it's the owl's perception, not yours. Correct?
Yeah,
I believe so, with polymorph.
Sure.
So the total is actually 16. Perception of a giant owl is +5.
Sweet.
So Gord, are you flying? How close do you get to the wreck? I guess how fast can an owl fly? You can get 60.
I think they're pretty quick. Let me look it up.
I think this is 60 feet. So you will only get within 100 and 120 feet of the wreck.
I was looking
with a dash.
I was looking giant
Use
eagle
his action to
stats.
perceive.
Oh,
I was looking giant eagle stats last time. Do you have like giant owl there, Kyle?
I have giant owl.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said giant owl. I didn't write it down. I'm just going off my memory.
I said giant owl, but I was looking at the giant eagle stats because I didn't know there was a giant owl.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of giant everything.
Giant eagles just fly 80, but it doesn't matter. I said owl.
No, I'm okay with eagle. It's what you intended to make if you just said owl.
I think you just like to skin it as an owl.
That's pretty much what I wanted.
Yeah. Regardless, Gord uses his action to try and perceive and try and find Alana within the wreck. Gets 80 feet of move. That puts him within 120 feet of the wreck to try and use the keen senses as he gets close. And as he reaches this range, you try and scan through the wreck. And unfortunately, with only a 16, there's too much smoke and just too much fire to try and perceive a tiny dwarf amongst it. But you've gotten Hondo within 120 feet. Hondo, you will not move any further as a result, unless you... No, you can't move any further because you were holding your action to concentrate on the spell. So you're 120 feet out. What's the range of your water spell?
I was just going to propose something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 120 feet. Now, if I were to shoot this wall of water now, and the water would go down to the site, right? Like, I technically would be able to swim down to the site.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
I like that idea.
In theory, I understand what you're saying. However, in actuality, when you cast the water, it comes up from the ground. It's not from you.
Okay.
You're not hydro pumping like Blastoise. You're forcing a wall from the ground, the water to emerge from the ground at a certain range for a certain distance.
I'm looking up wall of water right now. It's 60 feet.
So you have a range of 60 feet, and how long is the wall?
It says 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick.
So, wait,
That's a circle version. Is there like a not
make
so
a
should be
wall,
like a
sorry,
line.
make a wall up to 30 feet long,
30 feet long.
high, and 1 foot thick.
So you have currently only 90 feet of wall. You're 120 feet from the wreck. So you would get some of it, but you wouldn't get all of it.
It'd be a beginning. It would be enough to get something going.
It would get something going. And
Okay.
if you don't do it now, you essentially will lose the cast of the spell because it'll come back to your turn.
I'll do it.
Okay. Hondo, as Gord flies in, you summon the wall, and right before Lavender and Valentine and Mary, as you're flying through, you just see this massive wall that you've seen Hondo conjure before, and almost immediately it just disperses into steam as it begins to contact with the instantly just heated sand and the wreckage starting to cool. You hear a sizzling sound as some of this wreckage begins to cool, and steam and fog almost begins to immediately encompass the area around the kind of the section where Lavender and Valentine are closest to. But it is, you now notice, not going to encompass the entire wreck. That is the end of Gord's turn, as Hondo's held action takes it to Valentine.
I land here. I will. So I'm right on the edge. Would it be smarter, do you think, for Valentine, not to like metagame here, but just in terms of logic, should I make a perception now, or could I get in further into the wreckage to do a perception and try and get a good look at where she is?
It will be a difference of DC. If you get in, risking damage, but you have an actual, like you're actually inside and able to move things, you have a better, an easier DC, but you'll risk damage. Staying on the outside, you save yourself that damage, but the DC is much harder.
I go in.
Okay, you begin wading into the flaming wreckage. Make an investigation check.
I'm using my inspiration. Pretty good. That's 18, 19. Let me just count that. Yeah.
Immediately, you are coughing and choking smoke. Where the steam and fog is beginning to disperse, the some of the fire and rapidly cool some of this flame charred metal. It is just billowing smoke and steam in your face, and you bring your cloak up and try and protect yourself, but to really find Alana, you need to wade into this wreck. And you just charge forward into the burning wreckage, pulling and kicking past pieces of metal, trying to do as best mental math you can, as if it crashed, where would she tumble to? And you're just trying to pull up metal. As of now, you haven't found her. You also suffer 7 points of fire damage.
Halved.
Halved to 3 points of fire damage, thanks to your Warden of the Fae. I do need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yep, that's okay.
To concentrate on your spell.
So advantage for this, right?
Yeah, you are a Warcaster, that is correct.
16.
DC 10.
16 plus a bunch.
Yeah. You only took a couple points of damage. You're a Warcaster. You're well versed in maintaining concentration in the middle of a fight, though you are kind of panicking as a result of this action. Less so, this is not so much a fear for your life as it is for someone else's that you care about, and that is oddly more scary. Takes us to Alana.
Still have a bonus, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Only one.
Did you use your inspiration there, Scott?
I did, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you just yelled that.
It was just loud for some reason for me.
Weird. Sorry, I didn't.
No, my heart's also beating out of my chest.
Yeah,
so it's
always
okay.
like that.
The only one I could probably inspire is
Crawley?
I think I have to see her in order to inspire her.
She's also unconscious and can't hear.
Yeah. So I would just I'd yell back to Lavender and be like, I can't find her, I'm still looking. And I'll inspire you. We can do it.
I don't feel very inspired.
You are inspired nonetheless. That takes us to Alana. I need you to make a death saves. Roll a straight D20.
Ah! Okay.
D20.
I'm so
plus
nervous.
nothing.
I have 2, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's
What?
9.
A 9 is a failure.
Okay.
Alana is down her second failed death save.
Okay.
Takes us to Mary.
This is for you.
Okay. I will take the full movement, which is 80 or 90. Sorry.
90 will put you. You went. Yeah, you're there with 90.
Okay. Where am I in terms of?
I mean, it's up to you. At that point, you can kind of encompass anywhere within the range. We're going 270 total feet. You'd be able to get straight across the wreckage. If you want to keep to the air, you can get an aerial perspective, and you can circle around at any point you want.
Okay.
You see Valentine begin to wade into this kind of massive wreck, and keep in mind, like, this machine is like the size of a garbage truck that now is split in the middle and been thrust in multiple different directions and is just billowing this thick black smoke. And you still hear these faint kind of squealing screams that seem to be emanating from within somehow. And it's not earthly, it's not human, it's definitely not Alana, but it's something otherworldly, as you know these machines are. But
Okay. I have another question.
Mhm.
Would my eye for detail apply here?
I'd say so.
Okay, so I'm going to use my bonus action to make a perception check.
So a perception check versus a investigation check is a different DC. Just keeping that clear.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm trying to figure out, because if I use my mount's full movement, just talking out loud,
Mhm.
I don't have any movement anymore, right?
That is
So
right.
I can't do anything after that. But if
without
I'm
burning your action to dash.
right, and how would it work if I jumped off? If I had only used, say, X amount of her movement, half for some reason, and then I jumped off,
You still
I
have half
of
your movement.
my movement, so I'd have 15 feet. Oh,
That's right.
this is so much math. Okay.
It's a lot, but if you essentially, here's how I would play it out. If you use your bonus action to try and perceive, depending on what you roll, if it's shit, you don't see anything. If you get something that beats the DC that I set for what you're trying to search for, you get an idea. She is there. Then you can make the decision whether you use your action to jump down, investigate, or if you need to dash to try and get closer from where you are. But using Mira's near full movement, if not full movement, will give you like a full circle around to see the whole space, and you would be able to land if you were to find her.
Okay, so I just read my eye for detail again. It's perception to spot a hidden creature object, so I think it kind of has to be perception. The other thing is like investigation to uncover, decipher clues, which may not apply here.
Yeah,
so I'll use perception.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So it's 23.
Okay. On the as you fly over and you see Valentine begin to charge through the middle of this wreckage where these two massive chunks are split apart, and he's piecing and pulling through the wreckage, and Lavender's about to plunge in behind. You see the steam billowing from the wall of water. You make your way onto the north edge of this wreck, and as you do, you kind of swirl around and for the first time see the rest of the battlefield lay before you. And as you quickly glance out, you see dozens of Vow and Eldrazi sprinting at your group from the previous swaths of enemies that you had just torn through. They're now seeing a wounded animal and running at it. You realize you guys only have a short matter of moments here. And as you look down, using your keen eye, you do manage to spy a familiar bracer and and an arm outstretched, a hammer just outside of her grip. You can see Alana, and her body is pinned beneath a massive hunk of metal. You can't see anything past like shoulder and up, this singular arm and hammer outstretched. She is definitely pinned beneath, but you found where she is.
Okay. If I can get above wherever she is, I'm just gonna use as much movement as it takes to do that, and then if I need to, I'll drop myself the rest of the distance if I'm too high.
Not with Mira's move, you'd have to dismount, use half your movement, and land with a couple of feet, but you will have to land kind of in part of the wreck, and you will suffer
that's fine.
A little bit of fire.
I don't care. Yeah, that's fine.
Make an acrobatics check for me.
Acrobatics 22.
Yeah, definitely. You side saddle on Mira as she gets low, and as she kind of swoops low, you land and just this kicks out smoke and ash right beside Alana's outstretched arm. You do suffer 6 points of fire damage as you land, and it just fire just bursts up beside the side of your face. But you've definitely suffered worse.
Okay, so that's my bonus action and my movement. I'll use an action to just try to at least clear a little bit of wreckage, because it's she's probably pinned, I'd imagine.
She's pinned beneath a relatively large chunk of metal. It will take an action to lift it up, and someone else has to reach in and pull her out.
Okay.
You can do some clearing to try and make that process easier, or you can begin the process of trying to lift this massive hunk of metal.
Okay, let's do this. I'm going to use an action surge and do both.
Okay. So make your first... I guess the first one's just an action. There's no real check. It's just clearing the area of as much as you can. Just trying to the front, everything where you're going to pull her free from the wreckage. You clear these massive, just chunks of metal, kick them out of the side, and just kicking some sand over some bits of fire, and then just adrenaline surging, rushing forward, hands on either side as you see Alana's arm kind of in between. You plant your feet, push through your legs, make an athletics check.
It's not as good. 14.
You are just breathing in so much smoke, and the metal is burning your hand even through your gauntleted glove. You suffer an additional 3 points of fire damage through the process of trying to, and you've begun basically deadlifting this massive piece of metal but it has not yet come free. You've lifted it maybe an inch or two, but Alana is not yet free.
Okay, now I'll just call out to the others. I found her! I don't know how far away I am from everybody else at this point.
At this point, you're maybe 30 feet from everybody.
Okay.
That takes us to Lavender.
Lavender has tears streaming down her face. She casts telekinesis and they wrap back up into her eyes as they roll back into her head. She now has only white in her eyes. She picks up all of this metal with telekinesis and starts sweeping it across the plane for like hitting all the Eldrazi people. She's
Okay.
basically trying to like sweep them so they can't run towards them while lifting that off of Brawley because I see that Mary's beside her.
Make a charisma check for your
Okay.
telekinesis.
And if I need to, I'm also going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
Just check.
For
So you could. Do we have to call inspiration before the DC?
Before I say whether it passes or fails, yes. You have to decide right now before you say.
okay, I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
10,
Nope. 11.
11.
With emotions running high, focusing on your energy, you're able to pull the spell out and you're able to help Mary, but your emotional state is far too weak right now. You're trying your hardest to focus, but all you can think of is that moment, and all you can see is Allie and that wreck just leaving, and your sight coming too far away, and just thinking so much of other moments when you've had to say goodbye when you didn't want to, and it's just too much and you can't concentrate on the spell. It's not strong enough. That's
So
right.
does she lift it? Like, does she get the spell off, or is that
Spell?
totally like literally?
Spell is out. The spell, you're concentrating on telekinesis, but your telekinesis is not strong enough right yet to lift the wreckage free.
Okay.
I use a bardic inspiration to inspire Valentine, and I just say, please.
Inspired. Yeah, you used yours on your last turn, right, Scott?
Yep.
Okay. That is going to end Lavender's turn unless you want to move. You are currently about 30 to 45 feet from Allie and Mary. You're not in any smoke or fire directly, so you're not taking any damage. If you want to keep at this point, it's up to you, but you have your full move as well.
Can I like drop the telekinesis? Can I drop that metal thing on some of the Eldrazi that are heading towards us?
You weren't
Like-
able to like use it to lift it free yet. Like you don't have control of the metal yet.
But the spell's still up, so you could still like use it next turn
Yeah.
to try to wipe them out.
Oh, that's shit.
It's just
Okay.
like it's like if, you know, the whole 1,000 pounds limit thing. It's like, oh shit, maybe it's slightly too heavy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a DC to try and see if you could free it and use it to as an offensive weapon, but unfortunately, like I was saying, you don't have control of your magic at the moment.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that is going to be in your turn unless you want to move somewhere. You
If
get
she
there?
moved towards them, is that towards some like spooky fire stuff?
That would put you in the range of like fire and smoke. You
I'm
still
gonna-
have full spell control
Range.
from
Yeah.
range.
I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay. Ando, you are still in the grip of the giant eagle owl. You're concentrating on your spell. You can see the water did not quite reach the full wreck, but perhaps that's good. That means that Allie is not randomly drowning in it.
Oh my gosh.
But it does seem to be working on providing cover for your friends, as you have so often tried with fog cloud. You created a fog cloud, and it is dispersing around your friends as they're trying to find your other friend. But you are still 120 feet out from range.
I can get close. Okay, can I use whisper and throw it to like get close?
Love it.
Yeah, you can. What's the far range of whisper? Is 60, right?
I think it's 60, but I have that marksman thing now.
Yeah, so that's like the long range of your dagger is 2040 or 2060.
I'm just checking. I think it is 60.
Okay, so you can throw it to the ground at about, well, you're up in the air a little bit, but it's still 60 feet towards. And if you want to whip that and teleport along it, I would say you can use your action to do so.
Okay.
Sick.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't make a difference whether you're making an attack with disadvantage or throwing it at the ground. So You manage to impact and just run in stride immediately. That gets you 60 feet ahead. It would be 30 feet of your movement would be 90 feet. And at that point, you're still 30 feet out from the wreckage.
And I've used my action, right?
You've used your action. You could bonus action dash and would get you right beside Lavender, essentially.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. That gets you right at the edge of the carnage. You've reached the moment, but as of now, you don't have anything left in you to try and get any closer. You are still concentrating on your wall at the very least, so it's still putting out that fire, and it is providing a little bit of cover for your friends, which is great. And that'll end your turn. Takes to Gord.
I will fly us where everyone is.
Okay. You have to either use your action to dash, or it's 90 feet as an eagle. Is that what we came to? So 90 feet. Yeah, you'd still be...
Sorry, 80 feet, but yeah.
Okay. You'd still be shy by... if you dash, you can get right over top of everybody. You have to use your action, though.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's do that.
Okay. Gord, you swoop in as the eagle, just like pulling your wings into your side and just dive bomb in, and almost in stride with Hondo, you both arrive, you keeping to the skies over top. You can see Lavender, arm outstretched, trying to do something. You see Valentine charge into the fire, and through the smoke, with your passive like perception as an eagle, you do see Mary trying to lift a hunk of metal, but you, as of right now, can't see Alana, but you have to imagine that's where she is. That'll be your action and movement. Unfortunately, yeah, Valentine is in control of the spell. So that'll end your turn.
I look at him in my owl body and I give him like an owl nod. He knows what that means.
Okay.
Very obnoxious squawk.
Yeah, just squawking really loud. Takes us to Valentine.
Free action to drop that, by the way?
Yep.
Yeah, it's dropped. How far am I from Brawley, Mary?
You would be about 15 feet.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'll run to Brawley's exposed hand.
Yeah, as you started to push your way through the flame, you did manage to get close. You will take more damage as you have to charge through.
All good.
But you are with 15 feet to get beside Mary as she's just trying with all her might to like try and lift this massive hunk of metal. And you do see Alana's hand outstretched and her hammer beside it.
Like hand on Asterius's hilt, other hand grab hold of her hand, and I cast Cure Wounds into her.
Okay.
Let me remember how this works. Oh my god, I'm on my damage thing. Don't do that. Okay. 7.
Okay.
Pumped into you.
Alana, you come to consciousness beneath this just massive piece of metal weighing down you deep into scorching earth, but you feel warmth of a different kind kind of travel down your hand and across your arm and into across your chest, and you breathe a choking breath of ash, but you are alive, conscious, at 7 hit points. Valentine, you take 6 points of fire damage as a result of pushing your way through the smoke and doing that.
Reduce to 3.
Reduce to 3, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And thank God. Bonus action. I think how many of these have I got left? Fuck me. Bonus action. I'll inspire Lav, and I'll be like, "We need to get this shit off her." But I'll say something like, "I felt her hand squeeze mine."
Oh yeah, that would actually help.
Yeah.
I love you.
Then the tears come back down for Lavender.
No, I'm in white mode, baby.
As you manage to channel some of the Summer Queen's essence into Alana, she comes to consciousness. Things are slowly coming back to normal, but through the kind of roar of the fire and your own screams and the pounding in your ears, you do hear a fever pitch of roaring battle cry coming from not far behind you.
Okay, great.
That takes us to, unless if you have anything else, I think it's your action, bonus action, most of your moves. It takes us to Alana.
Okay. I just kind of...
She lifts it off herself.
Yeah. And I'm like, you guys came for me. And I'm gonna try and... Can I, like, do I realize, have I come into realization that I have a giant piece of metal on me to pull it off?
You definitely have the realization of it. However, you can aid, but you can't lift this off of you. One of your arms is caught out away, so you only have the one arm, so you can push like a one arm against this massive piece of metal. You will suffer some fire damage as a result of that. Okay. But you can give advantage. Essentially, you can use the help action to give advantage to Mary and Lavender as they try and pull it free. You just don't have the full strength to do it yourself. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to rage.
Okay.
Because I've just been squashed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rage, and I'll try and assist if I can, and I'll just kind of say to them, try using my hammer as a fulcrum.
Why didn't I give you more health, by the way? Why did I only do level 1? I was so panicked. I wasn't even thinking. I was just so scared.
Make an athletics check at advantage for your rage.
Oh, God.
Okay, that's a natural 20.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
So yeah, you still don't manage to lift off, but you are going to give advantage and a slightly lower DC for the other two ladies to help out. You do, as a result, suffer 5 points of fire damage, reduced to 2 as you are raging. So that is going to end Allie's turn as she aids Mary to come to you.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to heave this thing and then say, I don't think I'm gonna get it all the way up, but Val, you might have to yank her out. And I'll try to. Is it athletics?
Make an athletics check with advantage.
Okay. So there's 13 plus, what's my athletics? 8. So what is that? I can't do that.
To 21.
20 total?
21. But Mary, you do manage to lift it with Allie's one arm, and then she gets both her arms beneath as you lift it enough to kind of free her other arm. Both her and you just kind of pushing up, Allie doing the biggest bench press of her life. Mary, you plant your feet and you feel your heels just dig deep into the ground. And you do manage to lift this like 1,000-pound like hunk of metal a couple, like an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches with you and Allie. There's enough room that someone could grab hold of Alana and pull her free as you're just slowly, with your fingers just getting carved into. You do suffer 5 points of fire damage and strain and bludgeoning damage, whatever you want to call it. But there's enough room for if someone was to pull her free, or Allie on her turn could pull herself out. That is your action, and you're not moving anywhere. If you want to do something with a bonus, you can, but that was pretty much the majority of your action.
Yeah, as my bonus, could I just try to tell Mira to try to stay close, because we might need to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, you can do it as a free. You guys have a telepathic connection, so.
Okay.
You kind of feel a brush of wind as she keeps to the periphery of the actual fire, but is within 10 feet or 5 to 10 feet of you, Alana, and Valentine. That'll end your turn. Take us to Lavender.
Can I use telekinesis on both Mary and on Brawley?
You'd have to do it on a single target, as Mary is not grabbing onto her. She's lifting the metal. You'd have to get visual sight on Allie, which would mean pushing into the fire. You don't have a visual on her right yet. You do have a visual on Mary. You have a visual on Valentine, but not on Brawley, just beneath all the metal and the smoke. So you either have to push in to get a visual on her, or you can use your telekinesis on Mary or on the metal.
I'm going to push in.
Okay. First things first, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
17.
Totally fine. Imbued with a little bit of confidence, Allie's been found. She's alive. You rush in. You just breathing in smoke. Your lungs are just burning. You take 1 point of damage. Not too bad.
I love it.
And you get within visual range. You can see Allie. You just see her pull her arm in, and you see the metal begin to rise as Mary is just all of her strength, just the strained look on her face as she lifts this massive hunk of metal. And Valentine just kind of hand outstretched. You are there.
Can I pull? So I can't pull all of them, right?
You can only pull a single target.
Can I pull Brawley into Mary, kind of knocking the wind out of her, but pulling her? I'm pulling Brawley while dragging Mary like this.
Sure. You could. So, yes, you can do that. There is just a potential negative side effect of that we'll explore in a second.
I don't care.
Go ahead and make your. I guess it's not a contested check if the target is willing to come free, right? It's only contested if you're trying to restrain somebody else. So, with
I just want to make sure that if I do that, Mary doesn't drop the thing on Allie's head.
Well, that's what's going to happen if you try and sweep Mary out with Brawley.
There's a space where you can pull her out, not by
pull her
me.
out, yeah.
I cleared a space.
Can I? Does Gord have any healing power stuff?
Nope. Not anymore.
No one has healing but me and Valentine?
And Hondo.
And Hondo, but I don't know how many spells he has left, if any.
Where's Hondo at?
He was right back where you were standing.
Okay, so I just pull Brawley and I pull her all the way and I shoot her to be beside Hondo.
You can do that, no problem. With your telekinesis, your hand outstretched, and shooting across like a water slide alley, you're just holding this massive hunk of metal and then suddenly just sliding across your back across this hot sand. It burns for a second, but it happens so fast, and you skid to a halt, and Hondo is standing over top of you, and you see Gore just land beside you.
Dope. Good
Cool.
move. Good move.
Cool.
Lav, you have successfully freed her. Mary, you no longer need to be holding this massive, heavy hunk of metal.
Yeah, I'm dropping that shit.
Do I still have movement?
You have about 10 feet left, yeah.
Can I run back out of these smoky flames?
You can get very close to them, just not quite out of it fully yet. You won't take any further damage.
Okay.
So you'll be safe, but you're still kind of choking and coughing it in, but not in serious damage.
Perfect.
That'll take Lav. That'll go to Hondo.
I guess I will have to.
You better fucking heal her.
Do you even
I guess
have
I'll
spells?
drown Brawley with the never-ending water. I'll just waterboard her.
I have, yes,
Start.
I have Healing Word level 2.
Do you have Cure Wounds in general, just by the
I
way?
have Cure Wounds level 2.
Okay. Cure Wounds is just better than Healing Word, just so you know, if you can touch
Okay.
I
someone.
always forget that.
It's
Unless
just
he's
the
planning to use an action for
economy.
something else, yeah.
True.
Action versus bonus.
Is that an action to heal?
Yes.
Okay,
It's a-
I'll do that.
Okay. So action for Cure Wounds for 2d8 plus your Charisma modifier if you want to roll that. Heal up Brawley. I will also say Hondo and Gord, you guys are naturally very perceptive. You guys begin to pick up the sounds too of this thunderous kind of war cry, and you feel the sand kind of beneath your feet begin to kind of quake as sounds like hundreds of footsteps running
Don't
towards
worry.
you. Valentine, Mary, the two of you now standing, seeing Lavender take off back through the smoke and see Allie free. This heavy thud of metal and this creak as part of it kind of lobs off and falls with a on the opposite side. The two of you turn, looking past Mira and seeing indeed the remains of the Eldrazi and Revenant Vow forces that you left in your wake are sprinting at full force towards you. There may be 150 feet from where you stand.
Okay.
But all of you, before we even continue, the sound of this battle cry and this battle and war cry reach this fever pitch. Hondo, as you reach down and Alana is alive, you heal her for how much did you heal, sorry?
14.
Okay, so Allie, you're up an additional 14 there.
Never seen this me.
You hear and feel the secondary kind of quiver that rushes through the air. There's this high-pitched whistle that ripples overhead, followed by this thunderous clap. The sun immediately is blocked out, and you hear a series of explosions and cheers that ring out from above and all around you. Before you even look up to see what has caused this eruption, a metallic humanoid just lands beside Hondo, Gord, and Alana, and with a hand outstretched, you hear as it fires through the smoke towards the approaching force. Mary and Valentine, you guys just beside the two of you, hand outstretched, familiar warforged figures just firing at the oncoming figures. You all look up and see the massive iron dreadnought just blotting out the sun above, and just the cheers and war cry of Gambino and his pirates rings out from above as just more and more of these figures begin to jump into the fray. You can already see the sprinting war front halting in their steps, and they fall into a melee as the 6 of you are saved from this current battle. Gambino and the Dreadnought have arrived.
Holy shit. Oof.
It's good to have friends.
Let's take a quick break there. 'Cause
Oh
we
my
have
God.
to take a quick break. Our cat needs medicine.
Because we have to have a long rest.
I need my heart rate to go down.
Good time to get some drinks, some
Yeah.
alcoholic beverages.
Raleigh!
For saving me.
Allie's
That was
alive.
close.
She's got
That
like
was
7
When you failed that death save, I was like, oh no. I don't know if we can accomplish this in one more round.
I was like, yeah, we only got 1 round.
I just
Yeah.
loved it, like dramatic, like everything worked out perfectly. Like I just like Lavender's emotional state was so hard to try and lift this massive thing off. He couldn't do it. Mary just diving into the fray. Valentine diving into the fire. Hondo trying to get that water to come up. So good.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart. Oh, fuck.
If someone was like, so what are you gonna do after this is all over? I'd be like, probably go to therapy.
Probably just cry.
I think I have a lot of pain bodies.
A lot of abandonment issues.
Just like abandonment issues.
Oh.
Me abandoning, people abandoning.
Aurora always dies.
Aurora dies.
Yeah. Although I
All right,
did get
guys.
a cool Aurora mini.
Get some drinks.
For the
Take
Oh, yeah, that was
Oh my
cool.
god.
I'll
I
show
can't
it when we
believe
come
the
back.
minis that we got. That just
That's such a cool story.
That is
I love that
so
poll.
cool.
No one understood how cool it was either.
I
That's
can't believe
weird.
that.
Oh my god,
They're
it's
trying to explain it to Kyle's family, and we're like, you don't get how perfect this is. We've been trying to get a T-Rex mini forever. Like,
Kyle, do you have lab Rex there?
I'm jazzed that you.
Are
It's
you,
just a Barney.
we need to bedazzle it.
Yeah.
We need to bring back Ape Hondo too. You played a great.
that was
Yeah.
funny. I totally forgot about that until I rewatched that episode. I was like, oh yeah, that was so
Yeah.
fun.
You made a really good ape. Oh, my
Okay,
God.
time to get them drinks.
Yeah, time to have a little drink.
Yeah, we need to force medicine down our cat's throat.
Look at him. Oh, it's little Lab Rex. I love Lab Rex.
It's actually huge too.
Oh, I love
compared to
it.
other-
that's big.
That's so cool.
It's
Perfect.
legitimately very, very large. Like for comparison's sake, here's like a regular sized mini.
Oh, it's so
That's
cute.
so
It
cool.
would be big though.
Yeah.
Huge.
Lab Rex.
And that's
would
the
be big.
thing, like, what are the chances you get a T-Rex and a Mira?
Just
Yeah,
slim
I don't
to
know.
none.
Cool.
And every one of those I've bought has been like not complete trash, but not great.
Not great. Yeah.
Yeah, just not as perfect as that.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get Oliver out of the basement.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
pee.
I'm gonna get a beer, and then we'll continue the game. So, as the Dreadnought cruises overhead, and the war front of the Eldrazi and Revenant Vow begins focused on this new combatant, you are all able to kind of slip away from the majority of the fight and do as you wish. What's happening?
Guys, let's get back to the island. Let's get back to the high ground and let's heal. But let's rush there first.
Check back in with Valor.
With the Valor, yeah, it's a good idea.
Within a short amount of time, you're able to scurry back up the same edge of the island that you just ran down. You pass, or you don't pass, but you do see the wreckage of the other machine that once held Raymond at some point, off to your left as you make your way up the edge of this side of the island. And it is precarious, as you guys have specifically made it precarious with rocks on top, and it's already kind of a difficult rise here, hence the creation of bridges by the Revenant Vow. But with no pressure on you, you're able to pull yourselves up, and you witness the kind of remnants of carnage atop the island. It didn't seem like too many of the Revenant Vow or Eldrazi managed to get their way on top of the island, but the Valar did have their hands full. You can see the remnants of battle. You can see scars in the earth of blades having scraped across the ground. You can see areas where bodies were dragged and thrown. Some of Lavender's walls have sustained some significant damage. Some of the further exterior walls. You can just see huge chunks have fallen in. There are massive cracks in some of them, and kind of compromising kind of the outer layer, maybe even the second layer, but mostly the outermost layer is most kind of compromised. And finally, you also note, as you make your way kind of around towards the temple, you can see kind of pockmarked all across the island as you look south and around the island where you're standing. There are just scattering of black burning pitch. You can just see huge swaths of pitch that is currently burning and seemingly consistently, constantly burning. You can see that these catapults, mini catapults, have been launching this pitch onto the island while you were doing your battle out around the island. And you can just see it's kind of covered in this hellish landscape. But over a few minutes, you pick your way across and see the remains of the battle. You can see several of the Revenant Vow and Eldrazi are down and kind of pulled off to the side as you make your way towards the temple entrance through the kind of swaths of Lavender's walls of stone. And you can see that they did hold up closer and closer to the temple. The Valar were able to utilize the choke points, and for the most part, you see the Valar are still standing, though they don't look great. They look as battle-weary as you, if not more so. You note one is not with them. They're sat off to the side, and they have potentially mortal wounds. They are bandaged and kind of sat against one of the statues of the Raven Queen, one of the crumbling statues at the head of the temple, and you can see Quinn is kind of tending to them. You do not see sign of Selene amongst the other Valar.
How mortal are those wounds?
I mean, you can get closer and make a check, but it looks like they're missing a limb.
I just look at Mary and raise my eyebrows, and then I'll go do a little check on him.
Sure. Go ahead and make a medicine check.
14.
You make your way across, and you see the Valar kind of all look and give you weary nods as you make your way in. And they are the majority of them are in the process of still pulling and piling away these other bodies and kind of trying to toss them off the side of the island. As the battle continues out beyond, you can just hear this constant sound, this roar of battle, small explosions, some much louder, but they seem to be focused away from you for the time. Val, as you get close, Quinn kind of looks to you and gives like a really kind of distant nod and stare, and then looks back down and finishes tying off. It looks like this fellow has lost about 3/4 of his left arm, and he's, whether cleanly or not, it's been bandaged, and you can see the bandages have grown very, very dark red and brown. You can see across his face there's a large cut that has been kind of pasted over with some kind of potentially herbal paste of some kind. You're not sure, but he's probably lost an eye as well, and you can just see kind of bloody robes, like the vestments of these monks. He probably won't live out the night without proper medical attention, and given the circumstances, very likely he will not survive this.
In Val's head, he thinks, no, I'll have it in person. I'll just like nod solemnly, like put a hand on Quinn. And then I'll walk over to Mary and just kind of lean in and whisper, like, could that guy be the sacrifice if we put him down there?
I don't know. We're not sure what whoever that would be facing. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to hold their own.
Maybe
through whatever the process is.
I don't think we're there yet, but maybe we should just put him down there. He could keep Quinn company, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, at least it'll be the safest place for a while.
Do we have time? Wildcards, gather around. Do we all look like shit, by the way. Brawley, thank fucking God you're alive. That was like partly the most fucking badass thing I've ever seen, but then conversely, the most horrifying thing I'd seen in my life.
Brawley, I'm so sorry.
It wasn't your fault. Thank you guys for saving me again. I really owe you guys all my life. Again.
We owe our lives to you all the time. It's okay, Lev. Lev, it's all right.
Don't touch me.
All right. You saved her, though. It's all good. We're all good. Do we want to try and rest here, some of us, while the others wait for, I don't know, Gambino to show up or see how the rest of this fight is going? Like, who looks real trash? Gord, I know when you rest, you seem to get stronger right after.
I could use a rest.
You could use a rest. I think we all could use a rest.
We all could use one. It's a question of whether or not we'll be able to. I think we need a better idea of how strong our new forces are. I'm going to try to go up on one of the lovely little staircases that Lavender made for us and just try to get a good look at what the fuck is happening from a bit of a van. Actually, you know what? No, I can use Mira. I can go up and try to
smart.
get I have her for 8 hours. Try to get a good vantage of what's going on.
Sure, make a perception check.
Oh, I didn't roll good. Where's my perception? 13 total.
It's difficult to make a fine detail, and there's not so much of fine detail to be made. There is just a massive war front, as it looks like these warforged, these constructs of some kind, are in melee and ranged combat with the forces of the Vow and the Eldrazi. You do see there are a number of what look like majority human brigands and pirates of the crew that you recognize of Gambino's crew, but the vast majority of firepower is coming from the bow of the dreadnought, firing down small explosives. There's some arrows and ranged fire of different kind. You can see these kind of different looking, what look like cannons and ballista that when they fire aren't firing, cannonballs or ballista bolts, but there is an eruption of like force that impacts into the ground and scatters enemies in their wake. And you can see that the Revenant Vow and Eldrazi are kind of looking to reposition, as they're already a scattered couple of squadrons. You've already torn through them, so this is the remnants of maybe 3 or 4 squadrons, but there is a larger force at wake right now. So like this battle will end surely for your side, but how the Vow and Eldrazi react to this new kind of device in your hands, that's yet to be seen.
If I need to, I can spend like a little bit more time up there. Can I see anything about the other wreckage? Is there people fleeing from it from that wreckage in direction of the main camp? From the wreckage of the other vehicle.
You can make your way over there. It'll take you a couple minutes.
Yeah, just to try to. I don't want to get like right down on it, but I just want to get a view of if I can see Raymond probably got the fuck out of there, but I'm not sure if there's bigger forces fleeing from there. There were a couple other little vehicles.
Make a second perception check as you make your way over onto that side.
It's even worse.
Sorry, this is investigation. I don't know if it'll make a huge difference, but...
Oh, well, yes, it will. I rolled worse than last time, but my investigation is better.
Can I also say a prayer to Neavir?
Absolutely. Are you going to do like an actual, like something you want to say, or are you just like quietly to yourself?
No, I'll do it out loud.
Okay, hold on. Give us 2 seconds. Let me wrap this thing with Mary, and then we'll come back to the party.
Look at Brawley's face right now. She's not going to last.
Yeah, hold that thought for a moment. As Mary, what was your investigation?
18.
You get a little closer as from a distance you can see there's nothing moving at the wreck, and there's no forces on the eastern banks are making their way across. There's nothing moving from the wreck. It seems relatively safe. You drop within 10 feet. You can see a number of bodies still in their positions, like they would have been if they were like holding on to the harpoon positions, and in the helm. They're slumped and broken. They have sustained a significant wound from crashing headlong into this wall of force. You do not see sign of Raymond. You just kind of see what look like Vow and Eldrazi. And as of right now, you don't see either of the two kind of motorcycle machines.
Okay, I'll just return to everyone else.
Yeah, so back as everyone begins their short rest, Hondo.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for everyone to hold hands.
Why are we holding hands?
Why are we holding hands?
And I forgot I'm red, so.
Red, why are we holding hands?
I just want everyone to hold my hand. Hold it
What's
down.
gotten into you?
I guess hold hands.
I don't want to hold your hand. Brawley, will you hold my hand?
Fine.
I'll hold your hand.
Then I'll hold
Mary,
Brawley's
will
hand.
you hold my hand?
Oh my god.
Am I back yet?
Circle, all right. Form a circle, all right. We're going to do a prayer. We're going to say it to Neavir, and Pelor hopefully will answer.
Okay.
Who's that?
Neavir's a friend. We'll tell you later.
And then I say, I say, Neavir, you were a goddess when we were mortal. And now in our time of need, us mortals, we need your guidance. We need your protection. We need a way out of this mess. So I ask for any help you can bring us. But I thank you for your guidance so far.
There's a quiet moment as the battle beyond the sound kind of drifts away for a moment, and all of you, for the most part, drift into fond memory of your fallen companion and are surprisingly touched by the sentiment from your Triton, who doesn't look like himself, but very, very touched and a little bit surprised. And you see Quinn has also kind of joined alongside you guys as this kind of comes to an end, and he kind of bows his head in recognition of this kind of semi-prayer circle.
I'm just kind of like looking around like everybody's really into this right now. Oh shit, did I say that aloud?
Please be quiet. Please be quiet.
You don't feel any change in the wind. You don't feel any response of any kind of ethereal or angelic or celestial sort. But you feel good. You feel emboldened, at least within yourselves.
That was really well said, Red.
It wasn't easy, but I appreciate the support.
Mary, what did you see up top? What do you think we're looking at here? Do we have time to rest?
We can try. Things seem to be holding their own for now. No sign of Raymond. The Eldrazi that are left seem hindered, at least. They seem busy. We can try. I don't know that, like looking around the rest of the group, I don't know that we can survive the rest of the day without trying to at least patch our wounds a little bit.
I think now's the best chance we got. If Gambino caught them by surprise, maybe we have a brief window here to do a quick little rest, lick our wounds, just like you said.
Okay.
Mechanically, you guys can go ahead and begin the process of a short rest.
Begin? Do you mean we should roll stuff? Or...
Go ahead. As you find the next hour progresses and you hear the sounds of battle continue for the majority of them before it begins to fade away. And though you're kind of insulated within the temple walls and within the kind of outer arches and the walls created by your group, you begin to hear the sounds of battle come to an end towards the end of your hour. Very early in your hour, I should say as well, Alana, you are rejoined by Keith, who rushes forward and just like barrels into you and kind of nuzzles into you in this massive goat way. You do notice Keith's armor is scuffed. He bears some battle wounds, very very minor, nothing life-threatening, but he was not complacent with just sitting quietly while there was a war front on. So seems like he was out doing his part.
Oh,
Brawly.
Sweet boy.
I'm gonna do Song of Rest while we're resting. So everyone will get whatever this D8 is added just once to their short rest. Yay, it's a 6.
So everyone adds 6. And when you're rolling your hit dice, remember to add your Constitution modifier to each roll. Each time you do that.
Say that again. What was the roll?
I'm just gonna mute while we do this. We can take a break here. Like
it's an additional 6, Kev.
Okay. Plus Constitution or no?
Yep.
The six is on top of everything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just 6 straight, as if someone like cure wounds you, and then the rest are every roll plus your con.
That's right. This is just in addition from.
Oh, are we doing hit dice?
Yeah. If you need it, I assume you do.
I will do that.
Let's just get everyone to go through that, and we can let Scott cut here when we send this video out. So, go ahead and do that.
How do you do this on D&D Beyond again?
So there should be a.
There's a short rest button, Brock,
at the top right. Yeah, there's a short and a long rest.
Oh, true. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So it should be. You can choose how many dice you need, roll them all, and for your hit dice, and then click the take short rest, and it'll, for you, your warlock, it'll reset your spells and any other abilities that come back on a short. For Allie and Mary, it's like all the fighter abilities kick back. For Hondo, I don't think actually it's a whole lot for Hondo, unfortunately, with the exception of health that come from hit dice.
Yeah.
And same with Lavender and Valentine. I don't think they get any. They definitely don't get any spells, but they get any other abilities. I'm not sure if Bardic comes back. I think that's alone too. For the most part, it's just for your hit dice, so you have health.
Oof, not very many hit dice left, guys.
Oh.
Full, but only 3 hit dice left? 4?
Sorry, we just did live. Now I'm going to do mine.
Okay. We'd figure it'd just be easier if we just keep quiet and cut here later.
I'm full up.
What's that?
It sounded like a dog outside.
I think it was a car horn.
Are our neighbors fighting again?
No. I think they're working on a car out front of the house.
Of our house?
Yeah, like on the sidewalk there.
Ugh, go to in front of your own house.
Oh, there's another car in front of their house. and there's another truck in front of the next house. Streets are fucking full.
They're so loud.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're working on. They got the hood open, like, so I don't know what they're doing, but.
Why are they all shouting?
Because they're fucking hicks.
That whole side, actually, yeah, is.
It's just hick.
Our next door neighbors and the neighbors after that are
It's
just
the worst.
Yeah.
Shower window neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I knew it.
2 houses down that way. I don't know if I was telling you guys. There was might have been a couple weeks ago now. There was a day I was working, and we were both working at home. I'm sitting here, and I just start hearing shouting down the way, and like just straight like shouting. And it's like, oh, okay, well, what's going on over there? So I stop working, and I'm trying to look out the window, trying to see. And I shit you not, like at one point they're like, "You're not even my dad," and like you're not my dad, man. And just like they fuck off. It was like classic like yelling, like kid freaking out about whatever.
This is the same.
Was happening.
Then in the summer, there was at one point you could hear they had like a little girl playing in the backyard, and then you could hear a guy screaming.
Oh,
like,
yeah, from the road.
It's the same house, like absolutely screaming at something and somebody. And then he is sitting in front of the house. He gets in his truck and is honking his horn, like holding it for like 30 seconds. I'm assuming for the little girl and maybe like a mom to come out or something like that.
A guy from across the street came out of his house after like the fucking 15th horn, and he like walked up and was like, "What the fuck, man?" And he, like
it was like 2 in the afternoon. It was like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was like the 4th or 5th week of lockdown. Like everyone's still working from home.
Oh, it was so weird.
Kyle, I'm casting False Life.
Okay.
Just a D4 plus 4 temp.
Do those have a time limit, or is it just
duration 1 hour?
So yeah.
And then because of my warlock thing, it's like I could do it at will.
Yeah, like you can continuously do it, but something to keep in mind that, say we get to nightfall, those will be gone.
Okay.
Unless you just say False Life. And, yeah.
I might just do that. 2 plus 4 is 6.
Not so much like, I guess, actually like RPing through it, but I'll try to make a point of checking in.
Are we officially back in?
Let's go officially back in.
Everybody has finished the short rest.
Leah, wave.
Jump back in. So, as you complete the hour short rest, those of you who get spells back as warlocks get those back. Most of you just take the time to tend to your wounds, your physical wounds, and continue. What, Mary, were you?
And emotional wounds.
Significant emotional wounds. Those will take more than an hour.
Yeah. That's going to take like a few weeks, guys.
Yeah. We'll go to therapy next game.
The Wildcards go to therapy.
4 hours.
I'll just make a point to check in with as many of the Val as I can. And just like I'm used to stitching myself up and just help them try to recover too as much as I can.
As you make your way around, you notice that they're no slouches with dealing with physical wounds. Like they know what they're doing. You see they're stitching up some wounds and just wrapping others. And they're a hardy group. They're capable of taking a hit and dealing one out very easily in the time that you've come to spend with them. Even though you haven't so much dealt with some of these other ones and mostly been with Quinn and Celine. They are still physically very, very fit. And while they probably don't see fights like this, they're not accustomed to fighting.
Okay, cool. And then I'll just like chat with as many of them as I can to try to like confirm, yes, it was probably Eldrazi people, or if anyone else random showed up or anything like that. And that's about it.
It's for the most part, it seems to be exactly what you expect. Assorted Vow and Eldrazi as they describe them to you. Pardon me. Not saying Vow or Eldrazi, but as they describe them, you're very familiar with what they look like and the typical symbols and things you would see. Nothing surprises you.
I'll like move over to Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
You guys fought well. You guys did a great job.
Truth be told, I was a little worried when they started coming and you guys weren't here. But then we saw what you were doing and realized maybe it's safer to be where we were.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty fucking crazy.
It was impressive. I'll tell you.
Did you see it? Did you see it when he was riding that nightmare horse, just like fucking straight at them?
I saw everything. It was even amidst our harrowing display. That was something that I'll never forget.
Did you see when she flew off that ramp like into the sky and then it just fucking exploded?
No.
You didn't see that? Oh my god, you didn't see everything then. Fuck, it was crazy, man.
Yes, apparently there was something more going on. By the time that I suppose we did hear a massive sound, I have to assume that's what you're talking about.
Did you see when the huge ship came in the sky and it was sort of like
we did notice that, I assume.
And then the robots and then they're falling from the sky.
That I have to assume is that pirate.
I'm feeling really fucked up right now. Like I'm just like my adrenaline's spiking, but I feel like I need to cry for days, so I'm just a little weird right now.
Well, my only advice is to try and hold all that rage and emotion until the right moment, and then unleash hell.
If there's anything I don't know how to do, it's wait for the right moment. I'll just grip his shoulder. Have you seen your sister at all?
No, unfortunately. In fairness, I haven't really looked very hard right now. We've been kind of focused in the here and now. Although I would be lying if I said my thoughts hadn't strayed, hoping that either she had got herself free of this entire city, or at least is safe.
Well, Gambino's doing his thing out there, and I know there's bad blood there, but he's probably going to show up sometime soon with a bit of his crew, I bet, just to wait this out here. Speaking of bottling in the rage and holding it for the right moment, just echo those words.
I feel no ill will. I understand his kind. Yeah, life and death is a business to him. It's not precious. It's not sacred. I understand. I don't agree. But I know his purpose here, and I know mine.
I don't mean this to be in bad taste, but perhaps the Raven Queen sees a purpose for your ally, and I'll kind of just like indicate to the guy who's like mortally wounded.
He kind of looks a little quizzically back to you. His purpose is the same as ours collectively. Now, unfortunately, he won't be fighting the fight alongside us, but his purpose is still here with us nonetheless.
Completely. And I think the greatest purpose in serving the Queen is to do what he continues to do and give his life in protection of the fourth seal and the Keeper's Scythe. But perhaps he might do the same that you thought you would be tribute as.
The gears click and he catches on to what it is you're alluding to. And you can see this kind of look of like sadness and almost like for just a flicker of like annoyance or judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I appreciate the sentiment of what it is you say, and I take no offense. I know you mean none. I know you're looking at this pragmatically. And much like my sister, there would be hope that you could approach these things from that kind of thought process. But the gods work in different ways, and the Raven Queen does not work in that way. Not to mention, he's in no condition for what may lie beyond. A willing soul must be given willingly. A soul that is doomed to die and accepting their fate is different than a willing sacrifice.
Okay.
But I appreciate the thought.
Yeah, I'll just like look wistfully at that guy and then back to Quinn. I'm sure round 2 is going to start soon. I think I'm going to check in with the wildcards and maybe we'll poke our heads out and see what's going on.
Before you go, perhaps it is a question for the greater group and you can get back to me.
I speak for them, don't worry.
Understood. A question of timing, as we had kind of spoken about. There's been some conflicting answers as to what your plan is, so to speak, and also conflicting of whether there is a plan at all. And understand it's everything has to be a little liquid and manual. You have to maneuver around things, but where should I be? I was under the impression you wished me to be below once we had kind of grabbed hold of a position in which we could hold. I think we're at that point now. Should I make my way below now, or is there a moment you wish that to happen?
I think now is that moment.
Understood.
Earlier, when I was talking to my fellows, that was kind of our thought process. Even if you were to creep down there before the other guy shows up, I think it would be wise if you were hidden there before even he knows.
With you here, my fellows here to aid, I feel less guilty about holding a position. With these up in the sky to aid with the actual physical fight, my purpose is elsewhere. My concern, and there are many, however, primarily by my going below, I did catch wind of your thoughts of trapping, and he kind of looks around and tries to be quiet. This is like potential change of plans. The ways will be open if I go in.
Continually open, still open, you mean? Yeah.
As long as one remains.
Let me talk to my fellows. And then I'll just walk over to the wildcards.
No, I speak for them.
I still speak for them. Hey, so guys, Quinn is wondering if he does go fully below in the like basement chamber that we got to. That'll leave the whole path open. If someone's there, it stays open the whole time. So maybe we don't do that, because that would potentially just open the path to getting there. What do you guys think? Red, what do you think? You usually have a lot of opinions.
So what you're trying to tell me is that we're going to be sending someone down there to spring a surprise attack?
Red, that's not what I'm saying. I would never think of doing something like that. Red, the idea was to fuck me. We could have had him down there, but if he does, then it ruins the whole puzzle of how you actually get in there. The puzzle might be important to leaving all options open, so perhaps we don't put Quino down there.
Are you trying to volunteer me?
For several days, I've tried to volunteer you. I am not going to do that at this point. Red, I just want you to be perhaps reflecting on when is your moment. Quinn gave me this really cool talk about moments, seizing moments. I think you should focus on when your moment is.
I'd be willing to do it if it's for the greater good. I think I can do it.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
I think you're taking this slightly more seriously.
But I am intrigued. We're not there yet. I think Quinn doesn't go fully below. Maybe he stays just in that smaller chamber because he is important to this plan. But I don't think he goes fully in. I think he waits. What do you guys think about this? Brawley, you like making hard decisions. What do you think? I'll put this all on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably for the best at this point.
I think the idea... Mary, what do you think? You're about to say something.
I don't really know anymore. I mean, the idea of having him down there was that he would be down there for, we don't know when this all exactly kicks off. Midnight? Is that what we found out?
I think I had a feeling about midnight, yeah.
We don't know how long this thing will take, so the sooner he's in position, the better. However, apparently, if he goes in there,
it's open.
It's open, which means the Vow can just walk. If they get past us, they can walk right in. Anyone, if they get past us, can walk right in. If we don't send him right in, talking through options, it means that there are a few barriers in terms of getting either him in place or someone else getting through to it. That could be a problem for us if we can't get him in place for the correct moment. It could also prevent other people from doing the same. However, anyone who can figure out what the fuck is going on here and is smart enough, if I was them, would simply take him out before he has the chance to do so. He is not safe, no matter where he is. So I don't have an answer, because neither option is great.
Could we disguise him?
Maybe into a Triton, some kind.
I like your thinking.
I think Mary's right. Sorry, Mary, you go.
The only way we have disguising other people would be a very special hat, which is currently being used.
Misplaced.
Yep, and that causes other problems. Otherwise, he'd have to do it himself, and I don't think he has the capability.
That's true. I think we, why don't we just keep him close? Keep him close to this chamber. What were you going to say, Red?
Can disguise self be used on someone else or just you?
You could cast it on... No, you can't even cast it on someone else? No, never mind.
No, it's a disguise self, as in self.
That makes sense.
I would be okay with you utilizing a polymorph to make you look like a different humanoid. It's the cost of a 4th level spell.
And concentration. It only lasts an hour.
For an hour. You can do it, but there's just a lot of downsides to it as well.
I was thinking, what if we cast an illusion of... So that if, they want to knock him out, they knock out the illusion.
That could work short term in a pinch.
Do you have that ability, Red? I've never really met you, seen you in combat.
I do have a spell.
Do you though?
Let me. I'm pulling it up. Yes.
Pretty sure we've gone through this before, where you can make a static image of like a mannequin-like person, and they can't move or do anything.
Phantasmal's interesting, but it's a save. It doesn't just work, and it's only one person.
So the big crux of the question here is less in... I mean, it is partially when it comes down to a combat, but the question is more of who and when and where this all unfolds. If Quinn stays up top, all of the barriers remain in place, but that is a barrier against you as well as a barrier against your enemies. If the barriers are open, that means you have a clear path down, but so do your enemies. You have to really think about the strengths and weaknesses of your team and the strengths and weaknesses of your 2 enemy teams. And
1.5. We don't know.
And the process at which everything culminates at midnight.
Right.
There's also... Sorry, Mary, you go, then I'll talk.
No, I was just trying to talk things through. I don't have anything solid.
Another option. We could open this puppy up. We could try and run inside. We could see if the magic works that Lav has and try and wall of stone the door shut. And then, though we're in, there's a barrier. Wall of stone can be broken through, but I mean, that might not be a bad idea.
When does that happen?
Like, now?
But we bar ourselves in there now?
Yeah.
I'm concerned that that's just going to leave the rest of this place. What time is it, Kyle?
I think it's 11:59 p.m.
You guys are pushing into mid to late afternoon after
We
all the
still
action
have-
there, and then a rest, which is kind of a short rest is an hour, but as part of like you've taken a short rest, all of this extra stuff, time is just slowly ticking by. You're pushing into about 3 o'clock in the afternoon at this point.
If we can't leave out here, undefended, that just means they're just going to get up to that wall of stone and bust through it in half an hour. As opposed to the Vow.
Well, what about the pirates, though?
Yeah, they're going to run out of ammunition at some point. I mean, we can't expect them to literally hold everything off forever. It's not going to work. They don't even have the Vow barely had their big guns out. They can handle a little damage. All they have to do is send a shit ton of forces all at the same time as their big guns. Their forces take the majority of the blows. We know the big guns can handle themselves. They get here and they can bust in whenever they want. We can't rely on...
That would, though, I totally hear you. That would, though, solve one of our problems in that if we let those guys duke it out and one of them wins, then one of them wins, and then we're just facing one thing. Then we set up our defenses. Sure, they bust through, but then at least we have a tunnel to fight them as they come in. Not a great plan. None of it was.
As you guys are having this discussion, you're kind of in the temple entryway. You're not fully within. You do begin to see the dreadnought. The sounds of battle have long kind of died away, and the dreadnought has kind of been making passes around the island, and you've heard the odd eruption and sound of gunfire. But it seems to be making a more direct path over the island in your direction.
Yeah, we're going to have company very soon.
Wall of stone, if you put it up, if Loud concentrates on it for 10 minutes, 10 full minutes, it becomes permanent. So we got to decide now what our plan is.
If we do it now, someone gets up to it now and sees it's a problem now, they're going to take care of it now, and then it's a waste of a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Alternate plan? Let me just check on this thing. I got this thing. I found this scroll. It can make me appear and talk to someone. I was doing some Arcana research on it. Hold on. Did I mark it down as a scroll? Mislead. Let me just look it up real quick in my spell book, which I have right here connected to the internet.
Cool spell. I love Mislead. Mislead's a cool spell.
You become invisible at the same time. An illusionary double of you appears where you're standing. It lasts 1 hour. So I could mislead and be an illusion talking to them. If I close my eyes, I can literally just move myself around and talk to the person. So I could just stay up here and talk to them while the rest of us hide below.
I don't like the idea of us hiding below for the next 8 hours.
I love the idea.
Hiding below for 8 hours, that's not going to fucking last. All of this is not going to last for 8 hours. We're going to hide from an impending siege for 8 hours.
What if we induce the attack?
Induce the attack? What a weird way to say induce. Who are you, Red? Why are you even talking to us? You're a monk.
Oh, this rating still looks like
I want to lure them in.
Okay.
Rather than wait 8 hours, why don't we lure them in?
Because I don't know that we're talking about the Vow, right?
Are we?
Are we talking about the same thing?
All right, you know what? There's no plan. I say we have no plan.
Oh my god.
It's up to you. We either have half a plan or no plan. We just chill with Quinn. Gambino recognizes Quinn, fucking shoots him as soon as he gets here, and then we just wait for a keeper scythe to show up, see how that goes.
This is a fucking mess. I don't even know. How did we as a party have a month to think about this, and none of us out of game, and none of us can actually think of a good plan?
We made things outside. They're made of stone. A man jumped off.
I was very busy building.
A catman jumped off a flaming horse.
Talk about us as players. How is us as players? None of us could think of a good plan.
It's been a rough.
I was
3 months.
building what?
Oh God, I feel very stumped. At the very least, we can hide Quinn.
Quino, go down below. Just chill in the cemetery area, not fully down. Okay? The ship's coming. I think you just wait down there. You're a spooky shadow monk. Just chill down there. We won't tell anyone you're there.
Understood.
Who's your second in command, Quinn?
There's not really a second in command. Technically, it would have been Celine.
What about this guy?
Well, he's hurt.
What about this one?
Well, that's a woman.
I apologize.
Kira, I suppose.
Kira?
Yeah. I have a follow-up question before you start assigning duties to my men.
Please.
If I go below,
yeah,
and our enemies come below,
yeah,
without you or with you, what is the plan?
We're gonna hold.
Are you aiming to meet these people in combat, or are you aiming to deal with them and go along with the plan, with the plan that you have made with them?
Ooh, interesting idea. Ooh, Quinn, interesting idea. We could spring a fucking trap on them right now. We could go below and...
that was your plan all along.
It was, Quinn. You know what? You're jogging my memory, and it was our plan. It was to lure them here. We're all rested. We have little spells left, but we could spring a trap right now.
And then...
defeat one thing, and then wait for the other thing to come and roll over us.
Yeah, defeat a very small amount that has a very large ship over us that just fucking decimated, 100 dudes.
That was the plan.
Yes, and then we talked about why that plan was probably not going to work, because there's just a giant ship that's going to fuck us up.
But then what happens when the other thing shows up? Then it's us versus them. And what if they're like, let's team up until they're done?
I don't have a fucking answer. I did not make this plan. That was someone who just is like, yeah, let's give away all this shit that these guys want.
Red, you have a fucking thing in your pocket, and it might be the fucking time for that thing. I'm just saying, in the next 8 hours.
Oh, it's like right now?
Yeah, I was like...
I don't know. I just think, please, at some point, use this thing today. There's going to come a moment.
Have one shot. Let's not throw it. Let's not waste it. I say, we've got nothing to lose. Let's use it. We've been wanting to see what's been in it forever.
Yep. You know when you play a game and you hoard all your resources till the end of the game, and then you're like, why didn't I use the Master Ball? I should have used it, way earlier. Do we want to be that guy? But if you also use it and it goes very bad, it's very bad. So what I think you do is wait for a super opportune moment, and then you use it 2 minutes before then.
Just out of game for a minute. Are we assuming that Gambino or Raymond are coming down?
Yes, we are.
Now, probably Gambino. We're probably very shortly going to be facing Gambino and Syrah.
All of you are seeing the dreadnought approach the island. The combat seems to have fallen away on the exterior. So in the lull, it seems like the captain and crew are making their way either to at least talk with you or to set up position on the island as the deal with, to refresh everyone's memory, the initial plan, the deal with Gambino was in the exchange of safety of Quinn and ultimately the rest of your party, because you didn't fall into a huge combat way back. In that exchange, you gave the spell gem, or not spell gem, the gate gem.
Soul gem. You're right. Gate.
Soul gem is from Skyrim.
You're totally right.
And soul coins, which is where you might have been confused.
Oh, the soul coins got given away.
It wasn't what I was thinking, but I'll pretend it was.
You gave, regardless of what it was you gave away, the deal ultimately became Gambino and his forces were going to aid you in this combat. They were going to hold the line exterior, his crew was, to aid you in holding the line while he and a select crew, likely Sierra and some of their other more capable members, were going to go below at the time that was right, take the scythe for themselves, and slip away. You guys, all you wanted was backup in a fight. They offered you backup in a fight in exchange for the access and ultimate possession of the scythe. That was agreed upon. Then you followed up, and there was no changing to that plan. It was help us hold the line, and you can have this. And ultimately, they were going to go in and do the deed of getting the scythe. The Vow, you don't know any of their plan, but you have to assume they need the scythe as well.
So we have to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do with that what you will.
We have to assume that Gambino necessarily won't turn on us because the plan has gone to plan. He'll just go right in, expecting no defense. Just go right in and won't face any resistance. If his guard is down, that's the time to strike.
Agreed. The question is when that guard comes down, when is that moment? Like, if it's now, our friendly ship that has been keeping all of there's still a bunch of dudes out there. Like, they didn't all get murdered. They just, all held back. There's still a war camp.
Some did. Like, the guys who were still left over on the field, they all died.
For sure, but there's still a war camp full of baddies.
On the periphery of the edges of the banks of the outside the island, on the outside of the river bank, there are still several squadrons, and then there's a relatively large force where you saw the 3 harbingers atop their flaming steeds, waiting.
So, like, let's say...
There's still a force out there.
Yeah, let's say for argument's sake, we just eliminated a third of their force. And we almost fucking died on our own. And it took a ship to do that. If we fuck them now, right? Like, if we enact the
mutiny.
Oh shit, their guards are down now. Then we no longer have the thing that just killed a third of the force, and now us 7 and a few monks, because most of them are dying, have to deal with the other 2/3 by ourselves, plus the 3 remaining harbingers.
So
that's my concern about not doing it right now, because if we do it right now, we lose the only thing that's keeping us alive.
So we could wait closer to the witching hour.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Concern is he's probably going to fuck us before we can fuck him. Really like this use of the word fuck, by the way. I hear what you're saying, Red, but it seems like in the campfire stories you've told about the man, Childish the Gambino, that he loves to fuck people before they fuck him. And he's probably super smart. Maybe, I don't know you that well, Red, but maybe smarter than you. So he likely is expecting us to turn on him, is likely coming here knowing that. So when can you turn on someone who knows you're going to turn on them? The answer, you don't turn on them. Then you turn on them.
Well, my thinking then is maybe we turn on him before he even enters.
Walk me through.
He'll be expecting something down there.
Okay.
Sure. But we can't wait that long. We gotta strike him before then.
So
I say maybe that secret, Janie thing that I have, maybe we can use it before then. Maybe.
What would you do with
Could we get Cook out of there, though? I really like that guy.
Love Cook.
The dreadnought is now above you, and you see rope ladders begin to descend.
I think I liked that idea, Red, maybe 3 days ago. I think now we have to wait, like Mary's plan. We wait a little bit more. Okay, Red, you keep going. The rope ladders are coming down.
You continue to talk. I'm just going to say, Kyle, am I able to pull away to somewhere semi-private?
Oh, no.
You want to go in the temple? It's probably the most private place.
Okay. And I'll be back.
Wait, where are you going? We've talked about this. Where are you going? Don't do things like this, Red.
Going to the temple. Don't worry.
You see rope ladders descend directly around the kind of exterior of the temple as Red Hondo slips inside the temple. And descending off of them, you see a couple actually not even on these rope ladders. You just see these warforged begin to land around on the opposite side of the walls that Lavender created just a day ago. And you watch as sliding down rope, you see Gambino, his gnomish, dark gnomish skin, wearing like rather beautiful looking leather armor. You see this really well detailed design work of like of rising and crashing waves, and he's geared up. He's got this ornate, beautiful looking pirate hat, big plume feather, and he's ready for a showy to do. Beside him, you see Syrah descend in her opalescent skin and this dark black, slick leather armor. You watch the alien-looking bodyguard figure, Sanzara, descend as well. And with them, the skeletal cook drops down as they all begin to climb down and drop down in various forms. Around them, you see about 15 currently a pirate kind of crew begin to descend, and as they're descending, Gambino is calling out orders of just like directions on the island, and he's shouting out to these warforged as well to take position. You can see there are about a dozen of these taller, slender ones that you've seen just kind of shooting standard kind of long guns from like the tips of their arms, kind of like Iron Man blasters. But you also see 3 hulking looking forms, kind of like Hulkbuster armor. They all descend down. You see jagged spines along their shoulders and just impressive girth. One hand is just like an entire axe blade, and the other is fully formed hand, but you can see it just like kind of oscillating in place. And Gambino descends and looks to you all and says, well, you lot find yourselves in a fucking mess, eh?
Wow, so nice to see you. You have impeccable timing.
Thank you. I've been told that before. Now, we've kicked back these fucks who are trying to come at your island here. But I'll be honest, there's quite a lot out there. You weren't lying. They got quite a force.
You should have seen some of the shit we did this morning. I guarantee you would have loved it.
Ooh. Well, it's always next time.
Okay, hope not. How are you guys doing? What does it look like out there?
Oh, this is our element, lad. We're good. Everybody here is ready for a fight, and we brought the lot for this one.
Well, thank you. We needed it. It was getting real dark there until you showed up and made it a good amount of dark.
I'm afraid it's only going to get worse, too. That's a small amount of their fleet. They still have that large war camp across the way.
We did a couple of passes, yeah. They are, there's quite a few out there, and they still have some around the edges here. But, don't seem like they have anything too big, and it seems like a bunch of fucks, you know?
You ever heard of Raymond Borealis?
Oh, I've heard of Raymond Borealis, that fucking asshole.
Ugh. So he's still out there, and I'm just waiting for him to fuck shit up.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure that tiefling fuck of theirs, the captain.
You know, Throatier? Yeah, Throatier. Yeah.
Never quite knew his name, but I'll take your word.
Well, as an undead Egoth Vansroy, so that's another fun thing to add to the party.
Hell, I mean, Egoth Vansroy is, well, he's a fucking moron. I wouldn't really count him as much of a threat, you know.
Oh, you haven't seen him lately.
We have killed him twice, though. I mean, the child's just kind of right.
We killed him. I mean, if you killed him twice and he's still here, I suppose your lass has got a point.
Oh, I love this fucking guy.
Oh, the accent is so fun.
Yeah.
Loving it.
He's been practicing, guys.
I've been practicing in the shower.
I love it. Stay in character, damn it, everyone. Okay. Well, I think you probably recall Nothing really happens till it gets real late here, so we're just trying to hold court.
Oh, I think we just position ourselves up here to give you, the backup you asked for, and we were just going to kind of get a lay of the land and see what it is we're up against.
Would it be worth doing any preliminary, what's the right word?
Strikes?
Yeah, like, do they, Kyle, when I did my lap, I don't know that this was covered. Are those, like, machines that chucked giant, like, fiery balls of death? Are those still up?
So they're not so much machines as they were, like, kind of makeshift
like catapulty
slingshots.
things.
Yeah, they were kind of like small slingshots or small catapults. You still saw some. You didn't notice any, if you want to bring that up.
Yeah, I'll just kind of mention, explain the things we've seen in terms of the extra machines. We took 2 down, but there's still 2 little ones. And then there's these catapults. And is that something that he'd think his ship could be comfortable taking out, because it doesn't look like they're as defended as they were?
Understood. Well, we did notice the two roids. They took off to the war camp. So not much we want to do about that. But these squadrons, if you want to send out the dreadnought, she's yours to command anyways.
Maybe I'm just trying to think if there's anything we talked about as much as we can. I know some of us are fairly fond of striking first. I'm trying to think if there's a way we can do that now that we have some backup, looking around for the group. If there's anything we want to do to now that we can, well, we can remain in a defensible position.
Well, that's exactly it. I've been in a fair few fights myself, and you don't want to show your hand too early. If we send out the dreadnought now, perhaps they make a strike against us. If we send out the dreadnought now and we drain our firepower out there, we don't have enough to fight when they come knocking on the door.
That's fair.
How do you control it? Like, if we sent it out, could you radio them to come back in a hurry?
Oh, I can, yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of in favor of maybe just having it chill here, and we know they're preparing another strike. I think we wait for them.
Something's surely coming, of course.
Is there? You have a relatively capable crew. Do you have anyone capable of? We had the ability, long gone now, to potentially look in on some people, which we used to originally find Egoth for the last few days and keep an eye on them. Anyone in your crew have any abilities like that? Anything to kind of see what the fuck was going on over there? Like I said, we've exhausted our resources in that area.
We're exhausted already. It's barely even afternoon.
Oof, man.
You haven't seen our morning.
Oh, I haven't, but you gotta pace yourselves, lad.
You're telling us.
All right, well, hang on. Isira, Cook, any thoughts? I'm looking through their spells.
Valentine's going to use the washroom?
Yeah, actually, this is a good moment to jump out of this conversation and go to see what old Red Hondo's up to.
Oh, fuck.
So, I'm right now. I'm just looking at the genie bottle. I'm taking it out, and I'll be like, should I use it? Should I? I'm studying it, and then I'm like, I'll wait.
Okay. Hondo holds.
And then I guess I'll go to the doorway and I'll keep an eye.
You got it. As you make your way, kind of tucked within the shadows, make a stealth check.
Oh yeah.
With you have advantage on. Yeah, you have advantage.
Well, no, because I'm poisoned. Do I still have it?
Oh, that's a good point. You do not. Thank you. So 9 total on the dice plus your stealth.
My stealth, though, is probably still very good. It is 15.
15 total or plus 15?
Oh, plus 15, so
24. Okay. You feel pretty confident in your poisoned state. You are well enough hidden. The shadows of the temple, and they're engaged in conversation with the rest of Wildcards. You're pretty confident that they are distracted enough, and you keep an eye. But yeah, you get to see your old nemesis just hanging out, just flaunting it. This massive, amazing ship overhead, and you see familiar Sira, you see Sen, you see the skeletal Cook, and you see a bunch of these Warforged, these automaton constructs, as well as just a kind of various smattering of pirates, all kind of milling about. you watch the Valar are kind of picking themselves up as well and trying to keep a bit of distance, but also doing a similar thing of just trying to look everybody up and down and kind of gauge fighting prowess and get an idea what they're about. But you're just watching from the shadows for now. Sierra looks down at the rest of you and at Gambino and says, well, I do have a device that could facilitate an eye elsewhere if we need to.
Sorry, I was muted. It's up to trying to figure out if it's worth using to at least get a timeline rough or specific on what's going on in that war camp. I mean, maybe they just decide it's best to hold out for fucking hours before they attack. Maybe they decide they want to do it earlier. The more we know of their plan, the better we can respond. Or rather be proactive instead of reactive.
Well, as far as I knew, he kind of nods at Quinn for a second and says, this whole shindig really kicks off as Nightfalls, yeah?
Wait, didn't we tell Quinn to go inside?
Oh, we had like no plan for Quinn. We were just talking.
You guys had not made any decisions.
Yeah.
I thought our only decision was, Quinn, you go hide at least inside somewhere.
Then he went and asked, like, hey, what do I do if they come in? And then we got into a whole fucking thing.
I don't think we ever resolutely told him anything.
Okay.
We were just
Never mind.
Yeah, like, no decision came to. I gave several warnings.
I know. We suck.
Yeah. No, we're the best.
You don't suck. It's fine. But, like, if you need to make some declarations, you can't do them retroactively. So Quinn is just waiting for orders and
that was my misunderstanding then.
Is with you all currently as Gambino nods to him and says, I remember him saying something about it being nightfall when all this really kicks off. If I know anything, if you know anything about them, they know a fair bit about what's going on already. Raymond's no slouch as much as he's a fucking piece of shit. He'll know what's up.
The most we got is it happens at like the peak of nightfall, closer to midnight. So yeah, if I was them, I'd probably launch another strike under the cover of darkness at night, close to midnight. So I don't know. They might try and send out just a couple of picks, see what they can do. But I think the real thing will happen at night.
Yeah, if I were them, I'd send scouts. Truthfully, I think you got to be more on. We all have to be on the eye for scouts of some kind, and whatever they can send is likely going to be magically enhanced in some capacity. So have your wits about you for that. But I think you're onto something there. I think they won't strike till proper nightfall or until they get an upper hand in some capacity.
I think they need to. They're falling back and trying to figure out how to deal with,
I think
you all.
A right shock. I think.
Exactly.
Cook, you were good at spotting invisible people. You spotted Mary when she was trying to come in. How far is your vision with that?
Well, it's not too far. It's pretty kind of right within this kind of range here. If I was to look around, 30 feet or so.
Well, I would never presume to give you orders, Gambino, but maybe just having Cook close could prevent any invisible person from sneaking in and trying to sabotage us here.
Oh, Cook's not going far from me. He'll be within 30 feet, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of nods at Cook, and Cook's like, well, it's a short time I can do that. Need to use it at the right time, if you know what I mean.
Oh, not in all the time? Okay, good to know.
You getting any inkling? You let old Cookie know.
So maybe then we just stay on watch around this entire place. They'll probably send a couple scouts in. If we catch inkling, hear anything, see anything break or move towards us, give note to Cook, make sure we could spot it.
Nabbing one of those scouts may, rather than just taking them out right, taking one in might be an option as well.
That's curious. Yeah.
Sierra kind of perks up and says,
Oh boy.
Well, that's
Yeah, I know. Looking
my-
like I was side-eyeing her.
That's my area of specialty.
Okay, good to know.
Not comfortable with it, Mary's face says, but her voice does not.
I've seen your work. Maybe that's the plan. I think that's probably a decent plan for now. If anything gets real bad, if something big happens, just press back in here, hold the entrance, and just try and survive the night.
Would we be Sorry, go ahead.
Cook, did you bring a cauldron of stew or anything like that? Some sort of lunch, dinner?
Sad to say no. The crew and us prepared before the battle.
I always just get hungry 2/3 of the no battle. I just start to get so hungry.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that's a tough one.
He's like this guy.
Yo, how is Lavender reacting to Cook this whole time?
Like I literally don't have a stomach.
Lavender, how are you looking at Cook? Is it
I'm just like this. And all I'm thinking about is if this guy makes a bone broth, does he use a spoon or does he just take his arm and spin it around? And I'm just I have no idea what's going on. Just
for the time being, then, Gambino kind of looks around and starts he kind of gives you guys a nod, and they begin to kind of disperse for a moment. He's giving orders to people, and you see them begin to kind of make their way across the island, taking positions in the areas that you guys have set up the rock formations and set up the rock walls. You see a handful begin to head south and along the east and west banks of the island, and it's another 25-30 minute process of sending everybody where they need to be. And you watch the dreadnought just slowly kind of rise up, maybe a couple hundred feet, still visually within range, and it can move relatively fast as you've been on it, so you know that it can kind of drop in at a moment's notice. So, but it's not too far, but not too close.
Can I go to Quinn during this moment?
Sure.
You ever been to a tavern before where it's a bunch of musicians and none of them are really playing the same thing? They're just kind of making it up on the spot?
No.
Great. Well, this metaphor is useless. That's called jazz, where you just kind of go with the flow. I think we're jazzing tonight.
I get the drift. I understand.
Stay strong, stay safe. Things start to get hairy, maybe do what we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna say a prayer.
Yeah, sounds great.
Have we heard from... I know we sent a raven, right? We haven't heard back about that. Okay.
I will frantically but calmly try and look for Red.
Okay, make a perception perception check.
Where was this earlier, by the way? Where was this kind of roll earlier? 30. Oof. It's a lot. It's 33.
Yeah, you do spy as Quinn leaves you immediately. Red is just tucked in on the right side of the inside the temple, just keeping relatively well stealth, but not perfectly, and you manage to catch it. He is just keeping an eye on all the proceedings from within the temple, just hidden around the corner.
I will walk past a couple of the Valars. Hey, keep your chin up. We're going. Just making my way towards Red. How you doing there, son?
Well, I used the Janie and it's gone.
All right. I'll just walk away. Can I insight check him?
Yeah. Kevin, make a deception check. Scott, make an insight check.
Wow, I rolled really well. But you're good at this. Oh, maybe not that good. Maybe not that good.
No.
I rolled 26.
You are also technically at disadvantage for this.
True.
You've already... I don't think your deception beats a 26. So...
My insight or...
Your deception. So
deception.
4 plus deception, but...
It won't, yeah. 13.
Still pretty good, and you do have disadvantage, so in theory it could get lower, but Valentine, you're definitely not trusting of what he said there. There's too much even Hondo wouldn't do something like that.
I just give him a look. All right, champ. Well, you stay frosty out here, okay?
And then I show it to him and like, you son of a gun.
I don't know what that is, and I'll just walk away. I think I'll move towards Gordo. Hey, you doing all right? You feel good?
Good as ever.
What you did earlier was the coolest thing I think I've ever witnessed in my life. And I just want you to know how much we appreciate you making really bold ass risks like that.
You just wait and see.
Valentine just nods, filled with dread, filled with excitement at that kind of answer. And then just stares into the helmet, fixes his hair in the reflection, and then we'll start walking towards like Brawley and Mary.
When the dreadnought kind of went up and everyone started dispersing, Kyle, I'm just gonna get Mira to do like peripheral laps in terms of just like flying around under the guise of like keeping an eye out to see whatever everyone else is doing and kind of doing that, but also keep trying to get a bead on how many people are on that ship, how many Warforged there are, if you can see any of the rest of the main crew on the top deck or if they're all beneath, anything like that.
Sure. Throw me a perception check for Mira.
Oh, she rolled very good, but her perception's pretty trash.
Good.
But she's a horsey.
She's a horsey with wings. And her perception's actually +4. That's not terrible. So, 21 total.
21. Over the next, we'll say 15 minutes or so, as she makes her rounds, and as everyone kind of disperses and goes about their business, and everyone starts to slowly get accustomed to this like holding pattern you're in until the Revenant Vow makes some kind of action, or Gambino and his crew make some kind of action, or you guys make some kind of action. Until then, everybody's holding. She makes out, and you can kind of make out. There are about 20 Warforged on the island, and another 15 crew on the island. Oh, just lost Allie's camera.
I didn't notice it.
I just looked up and I just like, whoop. 20 Warforged, 15 crew on the island, for a total of 35. And on the ship, you see an additional 15 Warforged, and Mira sees 15 Warforged, and roughly like maybe 10 to 15 crew, but it's difficult to keep track of who's coming and going, as it's kind of, people are all kind of moving around. And they don't, you don't see any other of the other crew members. You don't see.
None of the other, like, there's that big dude.
Well, there's the big like alien dude is down on the ground with you guys.
Okay.
He's there. Cook is there. Sierra's there. Gambino's there. You don't see Raven, who was kind of acting.
We're pretty sure is driving the ship. So
pilot of some capacity, and you didn't see the dark-skinned male with like the dreadlocks.
Okay.
He's a human guy who was with them as well. Didn't have any interactions with him. You're not sure who or what he's about, but you don't see him either.
Yeah.
Neither you guys on ground or Mira.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Over the next hour.
Can I do another thing? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll saddle up to Mary and Brawley and be like, can I just do a perception to see what Gambino crew are around us, trying to look for like a quiet moment?
Oh, to try and just slip away for the three of you?
I won't do like a stealth. I'm not trying to hide. I think I'll do more like a perception to see if there's anyone around us that I wouldn't trust. If that's okay.
You can make a perception check for sure.
Okay.
Just like waiting for a moment where naturally people aren't standing right near us, kind of?
Yeah, exactly. 19.
You look around and you watch as Gambino kind of finishes, as you've had a couple of conversations and everyone's kind of congregating again. Gambino is finishing kind of delivering his orders. Sierra hasn't really left where you guys first met. She's still kind of in the temple outer kind of arches. She's just kind of leaning and keeping an eye and just watching. So Gambino is continuously is finishing up giving his orders to his crew and is beginning to make his way back to the temple area. Syrah is still holding her kind of position. She hasn't really left. She's kind of holding in one of the arches, keeping kind of a similar position as you guys, keeping an eye on everybody. You see Cook and Sen have made their way slightly into the temple, and they're just kind of out of sight for the time being. The two of them have made their way inside the temple. Some of the Valar are back up on positions on the walls. The one who is severely injured has made his way inside the temple with some of the others, and Quinn has also gone inside the temple. But for the time being, Val, Mary, and Allie, you're within earshot of Syrah potentially, and Gambino is on his way back, but it's up to you.
I'll just walk up to them. Yeah, take that cursory look, just kind of track people, see that we're not super alone. So I'll say, well, good to know if we have to send the dreadnought out, that Gambino at a moment's notice could call it back.
Yeah, you never know when we might need it here, right?
That's the thing. I kind of like having it close. That way, if something bad happens, it's here. I guess we just have to kind of wait and see. For sure, Raymond is going to be up to some spooky shit. He's got all sorts of magic. Are you guys feeling like 100%? How do you feel? This is me asking what your health is like.
I'm
Better than before.
Well, that's good. I think anything was better than before for you, though, Brawley.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah. Thanks again for doing that, guys.
Easy. Anytime.
Yeah, you don't need to thank us for first putting you in danger with a very stupid plan. But I mean, it half worked.
Lav, would you be near us? What would Lav be doing?
Yeah, I am, but I just feel like I'm never a part of these planning things. So I kind of pulled out my journal at this point, and I'm just kind of like drawing a picture of Cook.
I'll just go over to you. Are you leaning? Are you sitting? What are you doing?
I'm like little drawing,
I'll
kind of against a wall.
I'll press my back up and kind of like fall down to your level. One time in hell, I turned into a giant ape. We were trapped in this like picture like a bird cage with screaming devils all around you, and there's fire and stuff. And we were fighting like this huge fucking monster with wings. It's like a Balrog. You ever heard of that?
We had a bar that looked very similar to what you're describing in Estiv Atoll. Cages, birds, the darkness, the fire.
Strange.
That sounds kind of homey to me.
So anyways, in the fight, we were kind of losing. And I had this idea that I would transform into like that giant ape version.
Right.
And then I just picked up Brawley to kind of like throw her at the enemy.
Oh my God.
And then instead I just threw her at the wall. And then she just like smashed into it. There's a lot of flames, and then she just fell unconscious. So
are you telling me this so I don't feel bad?
We all fuck up.
Because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard anybody do. Mine was a mistake. You threw her at the wall?
Yeah, mine was super intentional.
Oh my God.
So don't feel bad, okay?
She's alive, isn't she?
She looks better than ever.
I feel so bad in this moment.
Are you telling me this?
No.
It's all right.
Hey, do you like this picture?
Have I ever told you?
Do you think that if I should cook, he'd teach me one of those recipes? I could write it in there. Is he going to be alive long enough to teach me a recipe?
I think he'll live longer than most of us, or
is he alive?
Dead live longer than most of us. I've never told you this before, but if this is our last night on Earth, I've always thought you're a fantastic drawer. Except you don't draw my hair right. It's more wavy than just straight. And then I'll just walk away.
I like start turning pages to like endless pictures of the group, and I'm like, I think it looks good here. I think it looks good here.
No.
That guy doesn't know what he's talking about, Lavender. I think you're really good. You can draw hair really, really good. And she just keeps on talking to herself out loud now. Anyways, that's it.
Nobody picks up on Lavender quietly talking to herself. About an hour of relative quiet passes on the island. No assaults from exterior forces, though you do begin to hear, you've heard kind of consistently. you hear as the lull falls across the island, there are still shouts of orders and movement of the forces that are surrounding the island. You still see them in their squadrons loosely, still maybe not working anymore, but they're still holding, waiting for some kind of decision. As the hour continues to roll past and the pirates and warforged get in position, and all of you begin to kind of settle into this kind of holding, waiting pattern, it starts to grow a little cool, and the sun dips ever lower across the horizon. You know you still have a couple hours of sunlight left in the day, but this heavy cloud begins to obscure what's left of the sunlight. Another 5 or 10 minutes pass. You see Gambino and Syrah and crew. They pull inside the temple and are away from, out of sight of anybody not the temple. And the clouds grow low, closing in as in a thick kind of soupy fog that over the next 10 minutes begins to completely obscure the island. Does
it look natural?
Definitely.
Like, because we've seen fog here before. Like, does it look like the fog we've seen over the last 2 days?
It looks like a natural fog, but it's the speed at which it's growing causes it to certainly be supernatural of some kind, whether by magical forces or by the weird nature of this day on this place. You're not entirely sure.
Red and Lavender don't like fog, from what I recall from previous episodes.
No.
I think I'll just call up to Gambino.
He's
wherever he
inside
is.
the temple.
Okay. Your ship able to see through fog like this?
Kind of walks out of the temple and pokes his head out and says, "Oh, that's no good." But, kind of reaches into his pocket and for a moment and says, "Hey, Raven, bring her down low. Something weird happening."
Can I very carefully try and see what he did? If he grabbed something, if I can see what it was?
You can make a perception check, but it's going to be hard.
I'll do it.
If I was going with him, which I'd imagine I would, I want to see if his reaction is legit.
That's a good question.
Sure, make an insight check.
Okay.
I got 19.
Kept his hand in his pocket as he spoke, so you're not sure. You know of plenty of different kind of magical items that facilitate communication. You have some in your ear right now. Like, it could be something to that effect. Very likely like a sending stone or some kind of message enchanted item.
Good to get the knowledge at least that it's an item. It's something he touched in his pocket, yeah.
Seems like it. He had to make a move to do something to do it.
Okay.
Play an action. Okay. I rolled my minimum, so that's a 19.
He seems legitimately curious, not like he was prepared for this. It doesn't seem to be his doing. Not that he could do that, but as you guys are kind of talking, the fog does grow even thicker, and it obscures the island. Peering out, you see having trouble seeing shapes, like even from the temple to the bunker. You no longer see that. The tower to the south is completely gone, and it just is thick, still, and quiet. The sound of the soldiers beyond seems to dim to a near silence. Only kind of the flicker of flame of pitch, the shifting movements of your allies seem to get through. It has gone very, very eerie. There's no immediate trouble beyond this.
Maybe it'd be worth trying to look in on our enemies at this point, looking up to Sierra. Try to figure out what the fuck is causing this. Doubt it's standard island shit.
You're likely right. It's something they're doing. I suppose they've just cut off our viewpoint.
Yeah, your big ship that shoots at things isn't quite so useful when it can't see what it's shooting at. Looks like they found a way to potentially deal with this new complication.
Oh, for now? they start making an approach, we can still drop a whole hell of a lot of firepower on them, you know? I don't need to be picky about who we're shooting over there.
No, but you do have limited ammunition, so you don't want to waste what you have. If you're shooting blind, you might be shooting a little extra.
What we've dropped is only a taste. We got plenty. I ain't worried about that. If we start running out, I'm looking to run. I'll tell you that.
Do you have room for one more?
Maybe one.
That's me. That's me. Lav and I both say.
He says, all right, Sarah, I guess if, well, they're not wrong. It could be helpful to look into our enemy here. Who do you want us to look at?
Sarah,
anybody?
Sarah, you ever met Raymond before? Is there one of them you've actually met that could help you get a better attuning on it?
I've never met any in person, no. I have likely the closest connection in understanding and knowledge of Raymond Orthroat here, not Egoth.
We have a last time we had Lavender draw a photo. If your whatever you have works the same as whatever we had, it helped a little bit.
And it's an item that allows me to scry.
I'm picking up on your accent, and it's very difficult to not talk with a half Newfie Irish accent right now.
I mean, it slipped into Sierra. I'm trying not to. It's hard. Once you start to like pull back, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Sorry, Mary. You keep going.
Depending on who we decide we want to, Egoth was the easiest target when we tried. In terms of, there's an element of where they can stop it. He's the biggest village idiot. Let's just put it that way.
Sure, but if I don't have any edge, I don't know if that'll be helpful.
I say we try Raymond.
We can try. I don't really need a picture for him.
Okay.
I'll just do it here then, I guess.
Yeah, we'll protect you.
She just sits down and, without even glancing at you, sits down with what looks like an opal, or not opal, an onyx polished stone. And it's got like a straight white line through it. And what looks kind of just like some faint kind of striations around it at the middle, almost like an eye, like it kind of opens to a faint iris in the middle. And she sits with it in her fingers interlaced and sits it in between. And she sits just right where you guys are all standing in the dirt and closes her eyes. And you just see this kind of, the center of it begin to just kind of faintly pulse open like an eye, slowly opening wider, and then the whole thing just turns white in her hand with a faint glow.
Can I lean into Gambino?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you meet Sarah?
Kind of looks. I met her here.
Okay.
This was her island before it was mine, boy. The scry does take 10 minutes, so there's some time here.
That's enough background for me. It's creepy enough.
The 10 minutes passes, and no physical change, no change to her appearance, no change to the stone. It's just this kind of faint white with a faint kind of pulsation to it. And all around the fog has grown, soup thick.
Can I have Mira come low and just do the very edge of the island, so that if anyone was to try to come up over the edge, if luck happens, she might run into them at the very least. There
are the pirates and Warforged are positioned on the outskirts of all the island as well.
Okay.
So it's not like everyone's just waiting around in the middle here. You guys are in the middle. The Gambino has sent his crew to the outskirts of the island. So if there's something coming, and as long as they catch wind of it, you'll hear gunfire. Okay. You'll know something's up. But Mira can absolutely do that. If you want, you can make a perception check at disadvantage.
Sure.
But the 10 minutes passes, and Sierra, her eyes kind of open. The stone reverts to its initial onyx and faint kind of white line. And she says, as expected, no luck.
Is she lying?
Make an insight check.
Mira only rolled a 10, so.
Mira's insight check.
Mira's insight check. That is pretty fucking good. What's my insight again? Is it an 11?
30.
It is 30 total.
Wow.
I rolled a 19.
I rolled super high, but that still beats it.
Nice.
Wow.
She is, in fact, telling the truth.
At least did my 19.
There's no need to lie, as there's nothing to tell or hide.
Okay.
She didn't have anything to keep from you, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure if, she could have seen something and just neglected to tell us, so.
100%, but seems to be telling the truth. She seems to have no advantage to hiding it. So, she stands up, tucks the stone into her pocket, and looks at Gambino and says, "Well, dear, I think we, before things get too crazy, perhaps we take a look." He says, "I think you're right. Well, you folk hold the fort. We'll be back."
Where are you going on your ship?
They begin to take like 2 steps into the temple. He says, "I think we'll go a little bit lower and see what it is we're looking to find."
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, great.
No problem. Have fun. Anything happens out here, shout or send. Hey, kind of looks around. Just, all right, Tiny, come here. And this humongous, like, Warforged, one of the ones with his bladed arm and oscillating hand, just thunders over. He says, "You stay here. If they," kind of points at Valentine, "say to find me, go there, get me." The Warforged just, and he just, "All right, good luck."
We all have very little faith in Tiny at this point, given how simple those orders had to be.
Well, we can go with you. We've been prowling around this stuff. We can tell you what we learned.
Oh, I think I'll just take the expert. I don't need you guys. That's all right. Kind of points in at Quinn, who is now kind of standing between Cook and Senzara. Looking rather uncomfortable, but still confident in his stance, but knowing he's not in a great spot.
Well, if you're headed down there and looking to learn, we could probably learn a little more ourselves. Maybe at least one of us should go down too.
Well, you don't really need to walk away with that scythe, so what do you need to go down there for?
Well,
Doesn't mean that we don't have to end up holding up in there or understanding what's going to happen down there, so we know how long or what we need to do to stop anything from happening that shouldn't.
Make a persuasion check.
it's always Mary. It's always
Oh, I rolled a
Mary.
19 again, though. So that's 20 total. Holy shit, that 4 + 1. She is a little visibly irritated, but...
Yeah, sure. He says, "Let us go down, see what it is we're supposed to see. If you need to come down, send one of you, sure."
All right.
I assume you. He kind of points at Mary.
Yeah. Take a look, and then if we hear anything, we'll come down, or we'll come down a bit when you get the lay of the land.
Well, if I'm down there, our team can easily get a hold of me as well. Faster than Tiny might be able to.
Yeah, but Mary, let them go look, and then we can go down.
If the lady wants to come, the lady can come. Settle down.
Well, it's just you're staying with your lady. We'll stay with our lady. I think it's just best we do that.
Look, I'm getting mixed messages here. She just said she wanted to go. Are you her master or something? Fuck off. He starts walking inside.
Mary, am I your master or something?
I just think we could stand to learn anything we might need to learn. If anything happens, I can get up here pretty fucking fast.
But you remember when we were hanging out with that Triton, and he would always split up, and that cost him his life.
I don't have to go down all the way with whatever they're going to be handling. I'll just stay in the doorway then.
I'll just kind of nod and put my hand close to Aetherius.
You hear or feel a faint hum from the blade, like just a faint, just buzzing hum of like a tuning fork.
Let's go, baby.
Just raring to go.
Well, if she does that, I would like to go up to Tiny, but I can wait.
Yeah, hold that thought. Gambino, Syrah, and his two crew alongside Quinn steps up to Quinn and Mary as you kind of catch up. Quinn looks a little uncomfortable, looks at you as you walk up close, and he explains how the first doorway works through the temple.
Red, why don't you go with them?
Red, Quinn's your master. You're just gonna leave him with these fucking pirates? Go with him.
I wasn't even with them first, I thought. I was still in
Red,
Where are you? That's a good question.
In fairness, yeah, so that everything is, it's ambiguous. It's all kind of out in the air. Hondo, I thought you were still hiding in the temple. So,
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Now you see Gambino and crew with Quinn and Mary begin to make their way towards the altar. The altar begins to open, as you've seen happen before, as Quinn says the passphrase. And with Quinn in front, followed by Sen, Cook, Syrah, Gambino, they begin to descend.
I'll follow as a priest would follow.
Okay. Mary, do you stay at the top here, or do you go down this first set?
I was going to go down the first set and like kind of linger in the door as if I'm just trying to piece together also what's going on.
Okay. Without going through this not really dungeon, but this set of steps that you guys have already seen and progressed through yourselves. Mary, you watch Quinn do his best to hide his knowledge before Gambino very quickly tells him to knock it off and to show him the path. And as you just watch him have this kind of caught between a rock and a hard place moment, goes through the motions and shows them the sarcophagus. They go through and each do, with the exception of Cook, do a blood prick. The doorway opens, the sarcophagus moves, and the doorway beneath kind of slips free. You do notice Cook stepping forward and casting a spell. And as you're waiting for the darkness to erupt out or some trap to be triggered, as you had happen to you guys, it seems to be dispelled before it happens.
They didn't use a key or anything where we thought they might have had his key.
Didn't seem to have a key.
Okay.
They went through the process the same as you.
Like someone had to pick the lock.
Picked it, figured out the same kind of steps. As a precaution, seemingly, as you're kind of watching this interaction, Cook puts a hand out and you see a faintly familiar kind of dispel happen, and it kind of wipes out the darkness that accompanies it, and they seem to progress through this next step. Give me 2 seconds. I got to run to the washroom, and then we can continue. If you guys want to talk amongst yourselves what you're going to do.
I got no fucking idea.
It might be necessary.
Mary,
I was not going to leave Quinn down there with them because they could have just been like, let's dispatch this dude if no one's here to watch. Oh, he just stayed down there. I was not going to let that happen.
I say we all go down.
Now, well, it's still, the problem is this fog, now is the time to launch an attack up top. And I don't know that, like, the Valar are done. Like, the baddies could easily get within the temple. We don't know what... It's starting to get dark, right?
But the thing is, like, I don't want to fight this battle. They're supposed to fight this battle. So we should go be with them. Like, I don't want to waste energy fighting someone else. Like, if we're going to start the fight, we should fight them now.
I don't know. I'm concerned that then we still haven't got... I don't think we fight them until there's something going on outside and we're actually using this ship.
Then, well, my thing is I don't want them fucking just waiting there while we have to do the bidding.
Well, that's why I'm thinking like we tried to be like, something's going on upstairs. You know, Tiny was going to call them back anyway. Let them come back out and waste some spells on the bad guys.
I think we go down and be like, cool, what'd you guys find out? Oh, you did that? Cool. We just stay where they are. If they want to stay down there, we stay where they are. If they want to come up because we hear a noise, great. But we should just all be with them because I don't want them to barricade us out or some shit.
No, that's why I'm trying to find a way to convince them that we need them up top because, you know, we as a team don't think we can hold the vow on our own.
I think they won't give a fuck though. So I think we just stay with them until there's a reason for them to come up. My thing is I just do not want them to be fine while we fight. So I think we go down with them. Oh my God, he's back.
He didn't hear you say that.
I just quickly said, oh my God, he's back.
He's back.
All right. So, Mary, you watch as the 5 figures ahead descend.
I would check in up top too and just say, anything popping its head out of the fog at this point?
I'll take a look. But before that, can I go talk to Tiny?
Sure. Even just using your passives over the last, up until this moment before Mary radios, all quiet. Everything seems eerily quiet. But the rest of you up top.
I'll talk to Tiny. Hey, I'm Valentine. What's your name?
His head just like...
You're really strong. I've seen you and your friends work. Why do you work for the pirates? We should chat later. I've got a lot to explain to you. If you're in danger later, let me know, okay? And I'll put out my hand to fist bump him.
He doesn't fully understand.
I just like tap my fist against his fist.
He like raises it ever so slightly as you kind of... It's like the size of your head, if not bigger.
It's like teaching the robot in Big Hero 6 to fist bump.
Hey, Max.
And then I'll just smile at him, and then I'll go, all right, Wildcards, I think we should go see what's going on downstairs. And then I'll just start walking.
Okay. Tiny starts following you.
Are the rest of the Wildcards following? What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I'm coming with you.
Lev?
I'm coming too.
Gord?
Sorry, I was mid-parry, so... Jesus.
You're going to
What do
follow
you
with
need from me?
You're just going to follow with us?
Oh, yeah.
Tight.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
And Red, you're already down there.
Yeah, Red and Mary are technically already down in the like catacomb area. Mary and Honda. I don't need to say Red. I'm the DM.
Careful.
Mary and Honda, you guys are positioned in this catacomb area. The trap has been disabled, and the crew ahead begin to descend into darkness through the sarcophagus-like room.
I'd follow. I don't want to leave them out of my sight.
Okay.
Hey, wait up.
It's going to be a couple minutes between her, like they're ahead of you, unfortunately, by time. So, Mary.
Can I just at least radio Mary we're coming down?
Sure, you can radio, but by the time like the interaction has happened, like Mary's already kind of following down.
All good.
So you can radio and just say you're on the way. So Mary and Hondo, you're both aware. Hondo, are you going out of the catacombs? Are you following Mary, or are you staying in the catacomb area?
Yeah, I'll follow Mary.
Okay. You guys begin to descend behind the pirate crew and watch as Quinn kind of steps into the middle of the room. And as it was when you were last in here, it's more or less empty. It's a roughly 40 to 45 foot by 45 foot room of kind of natural. It's carved stone, old, definitely old, very dry, some like very dusty and just like sand strewn about. Flat ceiling of flat, or not flat, but like faintly like black ceiling, like faintly kind of shadowy black. I don't know how else to describe it than that. One thing of note that you do find that is slightly different than before. At the far side of the room, as you descend these main steps, the far side of the room where there's that faint little, like, just 2-foot high platform, large enough for a single person to stand on at the other side of the room. Rising from that now, you can see just like faintly etched in the wall, this archway.
Mm.
That wasn't there the other day.
Is it etched like it looks like it's been carved into the stone, or is it like glowing etched?
Etched as in like a carving.
Okay.
Difficult to make exactly, but from this distance, there's no emanation of light or anything special. It seems just like it's always been there. Like it seems ancient. Like it seems like
not
you
fresh.
would have written in had carved in stone. Quinn kind of steps into the center of the room, kind of sheepishly almost is the best way you could like gauge him as Hondo and Mary. You guys make your way into the room. And as you kind of step in at the bottom of the stairs, at either side of the doorway, you see Sen and Cook, just kind of they both give you both a glance. Arms crossed on Sen. Cook is kind of just leaning against the wall. You see him kind of trying to light up like a cigarette, but he can't smoke. So there's no But Syrah, you watch her just like tracing her hand across the walls and slowly just like making her way around the exterior of the room as Gambino just stands beside Quinn with his hands kind of on his hips, just like kind of looking about the room and just watching Syrah. And over the next, as Valentine and everyone radios down to you, you begin to hear over the next 2-3 minutes heavy footfalls from behind, as the Wildcards are not so stealthy as Tiny is following suit and is just so loud. He's heavily coming down the stairs alongside, like 1 foot behind Valentine. Like he is following Valentine like a little puppy.
I hope he doesn't kill me.
But in that time before everyone descends, we'll say you guys are just reaching down to the catacomb level, just for the purposes of understanding where everybody is. Syrah reaches the etching of the door and just kind of touches it and traces her finger around it. Just gets real close and just kind of looks at it and just calls Quinn over. And Mary and Hondo, depending on how far into the room you want to go, they're having a quiet conversation, relatively quiet. Too difficult to hear from across the room.
I'd get closer.
Okay. You begin crossing the room, and like
Red.
each step is like the only other sound in this room is your footfalls and this faint communication. And it's almost echoing off the walls. At this point, the rest of you are in the catacombs. Are you making your way down as you see the sarcophagus of the Angel of Death is open? You don't see any of your. You don't see Mary. You don't see Hondo. You guys are heading down.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way down, following suit. Just and he fills the entirety of this very tiny pathway down, and he slows the process. He has to like kind of turn and punch and like get super small, and everyone who's behind him, you're waiting, and it's gonna suck. But slowly he makes his way down, not so gracefully. But Mary, you walk up a little closer, kind of getting past Gambino, and you see Gambino kind of raise an eyebrow at you and kind of a wry smile. He kind of looks around and he sees Red, kind of little quizzical look with a little nod to Red. And then as you get close enough, you can see Syrah just pressuring Quinn What do you mean you don't know what this is? You've never seen this before. You're our expert. And he says, this journey is typically made by one who doesn't come back. It's a journey for one and a journey to the end. We're not supposed to see this until it's time. And you see her look towards Gambino. And Gambino looks at you two as you make your way, and everyone else follows suit down into the stairwell, with Tiny following suit. And he says, for fuck's sakes. Okay. Kind of a moment's peace.
Oh, that wasn't there before.
I did not build that.
So we're coming to find. Any idea what it does?
I thought maybe that the scythe would appear on that, like, that platform where you are now, but maybe, I don't know. Quinn, you talked about there being challenges. Maybe there's another challenge at midnight through that door, but it only opens at midnight. That's my guess.
That would make sense. Truth be told, the challenges thus far have been mental, but we're trained to challenge ourselves physically as well. And I would have to imagine there's a physical component.
That makes sense. How many do you think this is then, Quinn? First one, this would be a second one, and did you say there's 3?
Well, the first is the passphrase.
To get down to this?
The second is the test of knowledge, to learn, to know enough about the Raven Queen and her struggles and her ascension, to be a true devout worshipper, to get through the second. And this perhaps is a test of strength, a test of wills as well.
That tracks. That makes sense.
I think it makes sense, but I truthfully don't know.
Well, we know nothing is truly going to happen here until it's midnight, right? A lot of shit to do before then.
But perhaps there is something that's going to happen here. I mean, this door wasn't here before.
Yeah, we can just hang out here if you want. If your crew's good up top.
I mean, that's my plan. I admit I'm a little surprised to see you all follow down, seeing as we have this covered. But
It's all good. More the merrier.
yeah, I suppose. Until the Vow are showing up.
Yeah, it's tiny little place in. I'd love them to just come single file here while Cook and Scary Face wait on either side of the door, and we can just blast them.
Yeah, sure. All right, then get cozy.
Are you sure Cook didn't bring anything like a soup or...
Do you want me to build a wall or anything?
Yeah, we can build a wall if you think we should barricade ourselves in here. What do you think?
I mean, if you want to build a wall, I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
Never mind. Collaboration, not so much your strength.
I don't know that locking ourselves in this place is going to be very handy at this moment. Like I said, we still have... Wait, what time was it before when I got foggy cloudy? Foggy Kyle.
I was getting 4 or 5. Like, you're edging towards sundown.
It's... Sundown's coming, which means there are undead coming, potentially Vow coming. Just locking ourselves in here just means that they potentially get through all that shit and are stuck in here with us with fucking 4 hours to go. Same to my group.
Oh.
I don't know.
Just kind of takes a seat over on the other side of the room, just kind of sits down on the far side, on the left side of the room, just kind of middle of the room, just takes a seat. Starts sitting there and just kind of pulls out the weapon that is at his side, this holstered, what looks almost like a hand crossbow, but you guys know it as a handgun. And he's kind of just takes a rag and is just kind of polishing and oiling the barrel and just like kind of working through it. It says, well, look, we're gonna set up in here. I've got my people up top. I'll hold off as long as I can. Admittedly, I thought they'd have your help, and if they don't, I suppose we could be holding them off down here.
Sounds good to us.
That's the way you want to play it. That's the way you want to play it. I just, I don't particularly like our odds in that case.
Yeah, sorry, maybe there was a misunderstanding. I thought you guys would be helping up top too, so I don't know.
Well, we are. My ship is out there, and my men is out there, and my firepower is out there, and that's my part. You know, that was our deal. Now you're kind of changing the terms of the deal here for some indeterminate term, and you know, it's not so bad, but you've made it much harder on all of us.
Speaking of much harder, and speaking of, you know, the deal, we just went through an entire morning without you, and then you did show up, and that was much appreciated. But listen, we're alone now too, so hiding out where we have the best chance to survive this thing sounds good to us.
Sure, but what I'm saying is you're endangering the whole thing by you being down here as well.
I just don't like the idea. As a man of self-preservation, perhaps you would understand this. I just don't like the idea of risking everything up top and then dying while you and your crew, as much as I've grown attached to them, get to just hang here.
You know what? I think we could diffuse this situation. Brawley, do you want to go upstairs with me?
I don't know if we should... What? I don't know if we should split up.
Yeah, okay.
So, we walk around the corner.
Wait. You can't go that far. You can just say you walk.
Yeah, you can walk, but immediately Sen and Cook like kind of step to cover the door and look towards Gambino.
Like they can't leave?
Yeah, like they block the door.
I have to pee!
Oh, see, we
You didn't
can't
have to leave
though.
until a moment ago there, dear.
Everyone chill.
Oh, so you're saying, why don't you leave and then you don't let us leave? Okay, we won't leave. That was your decision.
You can go all you want. She didn't have to go to the bathroom until just a moment ago, until we got things a little spicy here. But yes, you're right. Why don't the two of you?
Why don't you two...
Never mind, I just remembered something.
Gambino, can I ask you a question?
Well, sure.
He knows what's end.
You ever been in the Kel Desert before?
Oh, yes.
We were there before this night's done. I just had to say, we were in the Kel Desert and we uncovered this box, and I'm almost certain it was what was holding that special thing you got in your hands there.
He holds up the guys. This?
Yeah. And I just wanted to say I just fucking loved what you wrote in that letter back to them. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, that's too bad. I really hoped they would have got that.
I know one guy did. Yeah, you're right. It didn't make it back, but a Revenant Vow certainly did get it.
Oh, well. I thought it was quite inspired.
It was great. I fucking loved it. There's a lot we can love about each other here, all right? I know tensions are getting high, but we got plenty of time to wait before things get each other's throats.
Sure. I just think you should be doing your waiting up top, or you said you would.
Appreciate that. I think we're going to stay down here, though.
You got it. You do
Cool.
what you do.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get some rations out if you guys want any.
Sure.
Oh, I was talking to my crew. Are you guys hungry?
We're good.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah. Wildcards, I'm going to get some rations out.
Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
while that was all going on, could I stealthily move toward Brawley?
Not so much stealthy as she was just the target of like conversation. You can make your way towards her, but it won't be quick.
Oh, yeah, I just want to stand next to her. Like, I don't want to. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, you can make your way
A little
towards her.
side squeeze. Hey,
Do I
get out, you're
do
doing
I have to roll for that, or?
No, I mean, how stealthy are you trying to be here? Like, it's pretty open space. There's nowhere to
Like,
hide.
Well, just like while Gambino was talking to Valentine,
Mhm.
they wouldn't suddenly like stop talking and look over like, why did he go there? Type.
No, but here, I don't have this. I don't have a map. I don't have anything to show you. But in the scope of where everybody's positioned, Gambino and Val and Sierra and Quinn are kind of in the middle of the room, while Sierra and Quinn are up at the very opposite side of the door. The door is here. Lavender and Valley both got to the door and are held there, central in the door, and then kind of broke away. So you'll be pulling up into the kind of the middle, right at the doorway where Allie is still kind of standing, with Cook and Sen, who's the alien-looking dude, right there as well.
So, this is a Hondo idea.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to. I'm going to walk really close. I'm going to get really close to Brawley.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to take a. I'm going to take a dump on the floor.
You're going to take a shit on the floor?
And I'm going to walk away.
Okay.
And I think you need to let her go.
How are you gonna secretly
It
shit
doesn't work.
on the floor?
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's.
As soon as Hondo begins to sit down,
You just shit on the floor.
you shit on the floor. I'm not going to stop you from shitting on the floor. You shit on the floor. But both Cook and Senzara both just like
What the fuck?
rise up. Sen grabs you and throws you.
Oh my god, Hondo, are you serious? I cast prestidigitation on his shit, so it smells like lavender.
My
Okay.
disguise hasn't
Well, it kind of has been a little bit shown up because as you get thrown to the floor by Senzara, Sen immediately looks up at Gambino and says something in a language none of you understand, but it's very aggressive. To which Gambino's eyebrow kind of perks up, and he says, all right. And he begins to stand up. And he points the gun at Hondo for a moment and says, I'm going to put my hand up and I'm going to say, what you see with our crew is what you get. We're as plain as can be. Now, I don't particularly like surprises. But this fella here, he's got some fucking surprises. So, I'm going to give you to the count of 3 to reveal what the fuck is going on here. And if I see any fucking funny business from any of you, I kind of have a policy of scorched earth, if you know what I mean.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
So
1.
they know me as Red, but the reality is I'm a whole lot of blue.
You're just...
Oh, that's so good.
And you stand tall and take nothing off because you're not actually holding your illusions.
It's for effect. It's for effect.
It's for effect. As you do, you disperse the disguise self spell. And there's no real audible gasp or any expulsion of interesting sounds or applause. But Gambino does have just a shocked, legitimately shocked and surprised look on his face. And he says, well, hoist my fucking jib, Hondo the Blue. Never in my wildest fucking dreams would I have believed you to be here.
Well, I'm glad I'm still in your dreams. It means I did something right.
Well, very few things in your life, but there's a couple, yeah. So, tell me, what the fuck are you doing here?
Causing mischief,
Sure.
looking for a ship, I was hoping
Sitting on the floor.
Looking for a ship, not your, what was the name of your fucking ship that we absconded with?
the floppy salmon.
That's it. That's the one. Hey, boys, ever what happened to the floppy salmon? And Cook just kind of says, well, I think we use that for target practice one day, eh? And Gambino's like, oh, that's right. It's kind of hanging out at the bottom of the ocean right now.
It's rough.
That's too bad. Well, when I'm finished with you, I will put you there as well, and maybe you can enjoy it more there. Because I think it is time we finish this with a duel.
Truthfully, I agree. I think it's far past time of this fucking about, and he shoots you. Let's go initiative.
Here we go.
This is gonna get a long night.
Oh,
This went really bad. This went really, really, really bad.
It's so early.
I know. That's what I mean. We haven't even 3/4 of the forest hasn't even been dealt with upstairs.
Okay, hold on. It's 11:09. do we want to do this combat now?
I mean,
Wait.
is it going to take 2 hours? Because it's probably going to take 2 hours.
Wait till Scott gets back.
Yeah, let's.
I gotta pee too. 1 second.
Go pee. Go ahead. But we gotta make that call because this is probably not just a single hour combat. It could be. This is like the precursor to the big show, right? Because this could have big implications. No, you know what? I think I'm going to make the call. Well, let's wait for Scott to get back, but I think we hold here. Right? Yeah. 10 after 11. Yeah, no, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I could weaken Gambino enough, and then you guys can finish him later.
Oh, it's all out. Like, I don't think that you suggested a duel, and I don't think Gambino and crew are going to honor that request.
He back.
Okay, with the first shot by Gambino and the Wildcards and Gambino and crew falling into combat, we'll pick up there next time.
Oh shit!
I think it makes better sense just given the time it is now. It'll get me like I have the map ready, but I don't have it properly set up.
Where did he shoot Hondo? Right in his tummy?
Well, did he hit him? We don't know.
I gotta still roll the hit. I'm gonna roll and hit him.
Oh shit! That was perfect. That was perfect, Hondo. What a fucking great reveal.
I love how you said it's a Hondo thing to do. Like you were just like, I'm going full Hondo, baby.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the tensions have reached their boiling point between Gambino and the Wildcards. Our heroes must now decide to navigate tenuous negotiations or let chaos reign. There will be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.